Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
This is something we've been really failing at, which is
Intros?
because there's like new people that don't know what the show is or what it's about or who we are.
Welcome to No News is News. I'm Kimberly to Persia.
I'm Alex R. Wagner.
Yeah, and so what we do on the show is we just watch the top news content of the day, and we work our way through kind of
just
the
news
night.
channels.
Just
the news channels.
We watch everything. Okay?
Old
we watch
school
CNN.
cable style news.
Yeah, we watch CNN, we watch Fox, we watch, oh my gosh, we watch Fox, or oh my gosh, we watch CNN. We watch everything because you have to have a balanced view of all the information out there, because as we all know, television news in general is just very biased.
Right.
So we try to point out the bias, and we try to poke fun at it.
And here's the thing: this is the only show where you will get to watch January 6th hearings, Kanye West backlash, and Chris Cuomo, because no one else is going to be covering all of the different angles.
No one's covering Chris.
No one's covering Chris Cuomo. We got those J6 though. I looked at the advanced schedule for today. January 6th hearings are between 8 and 10 p.m., but only on MSNBC. I think they bought the exclusive rights or something.
Oh, so they're betting on it like the Super Bowl?
Yeah. They got Amazon is now doing football. So cable, the things that were on cable are now on the internet. So now the things that were really boring and were on YouTube channels on the internet, like Congress, are now on cable.
Oh. But hey, we're not on cable.
We're not at either.
We just watch the cable?
Also, update, Stephen Colbert flagged us.
Yeah.
This guy over here, thinking he runs the world, can't use fair use in Stephen Colbert land. The man, okay.
He made his career off of being on
literally a parody.
Jon Stewart.
But it's every intro, as we'll see tonight as well, because we're still going to cover his show, because fuck him, is that when you see the intro of his show every single week, it's not him doing an actual sketch. It's not him saying anything. It's him taking the news, like an actual different thing, and repurposing it by saying fake news over in the corner of it. And that's it. Every single week, just writes fake news over CNN or MSNBC or whoever else he wants to just steal from to intro his show as a newscaster.
Yeah.
Does not actually claim fair
Alex,
use on that.
You know what?
And then
the microphone is right there. You don't have to scream at it.
Oh.
Alex is very upset by this.
I'm upset at the process. I don't think it's fair that you need to take a strike, possibly gain more strikes in the vicinity, causing further punishment to your YouTube channel, when you willfully know that at the end of the day, when you send the counter notification, they're not suing us.
Yeah.
And if they are, this becomes a completely different show called the Stephen Colbert Sued Us Show. Starring Alex and Kim.
I don't know.
Every week we just cover where we are in getting sued by Stephen Colbert. He's after our $1 billion, as they did with the Alex Jones,
That's a completely different metaphor.
We can't
compare ourselves to
because
Alex
you're like I don't want to be associated with conspiracy theories about Sandy Hook.
Yeah, I don't want to be considered like that. That's a little too much. Also, that's a hefty price tag too. I don't want Stephen Colbert suing us for
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
For talking about my monologue and not laughing.
He's the only one too. I mean, the Daily Show with Trevor Noah is doing
Viacom,
it too.
Paramount.
So basically, it's just Viacom, but no one else is doing it. So
yeah. Viacom is the only ones that care. If
everyone else is fine with it, then why are you the only
Why are
person?
you the only one doing this?
You don't have Jimmy Fallon that's
causing
being
a
all
problem. Because here's the other thing. They went through this process of flagging the show for us doing the same thing before, We've went through the process of saying, no, we have fair use. And they've went through the process of going, oh yeah, you do. And then the 5th time that we do the same thing, they're like, this time, different conclusion.
It's a different intern, Alex. You know,
Different
it's
intern.
Just a different intern.
All right. Anyway, on to our show.
I do have a spot of something in my mug, and I'm really sorry. This might look disgusting, but I have to take it out. I don't know what it is. Huh. I think it was just like...
Piece of coffee grounds? Probably.
Alex is mad at me because...
The dishwasher,
I swear it's not me, but he thinks because I drink coffee that when the dishwasher washes the dishes, there's coffee grounds and stuff. And
put in every single glass, and it's because she takes these disposable cake up.
No, they're not disposable. They're not. They're reusable.
Reusable, and sticks them without rinsing them off.
I rinsed them off.
In the dishwasher. And then the magic coffee grounds that she rinsed off. Somehow magically appear in this cup, which has never had coffee in it.
Comment in the comments, who do you believe, Alex or me?
I have a theory you don't. So.
I just think it's not the greatest dishwasher, but hey, at least we have one. It's great.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
at least we don't live in Ukraine.
No, because people in all of America are like, why are you happy about a dishwasher? We all have dishwashers. When you live in New York City for like years, it was finally like the last year and a half that I lived in New York City, I finally had dishwashers. But before that, none. You had to wash all your dishes by hand. Yeah. It was a travesty. Travesty.
You know what else happened? There's a lot of, well, I already said this, or did I say this when we were on the air or not? Did I said that I had a lot of clips, then I decided not to put the clips out?
I don't remember, but hey, might as well recap that.
Just to recap, what was it? Let's see here. We had
Don't tell them the clips that we're not playing. Let's just dive into this. Then they're gonna be like, why are you telling us about it but not showing it? That's weird and lazy.
Yeah, facts.
So we're just gonna be like, we're not even gonna tell you about the clips.
Actually, ignore that part, guys. Ignore it.
All right, let's dive into this. Right, the 5. Right, we're kicking it off. Kicking it off with Fox News. Oh, I gotta put this in my ear.
MSNBC got that exclusive J6 that starting at 8 o'clock. So
what's the 5 we're gonna talk about? Oh, hello. I know.
Probably not J6. Probably something far off base like immigration. He'll be like, bah. All right, let's see. What's the day start with?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, hello everyone. I'm Dana Perino along with Judge Janine Pirro, Jessica Tarloff, Jesse Waters, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is the 5. A dramatic move from the January 6th committee today, just 26 days before the midterms. The panel voting unanimously to subpoena former President Donald Trump.
Okay.
And if President Trump does not appear or comply, the entire House could vote to hold him in contempt of Congress. But it's likely to be an uphill battle. The subpoena is set to expire by the end of this congressional session, and that's in January. This news coming as the White House
so it's not going to be instantaneous. It's not going to be like next week.
Before November 8th. Rising prices still at record highs, not showing any signs of coming down. But President Biden says
he's in
America
Los Angeles
is
at
making
a
progress.
welfare factory.
Today's report shows some progress.
Just in front of some trash.
Overall, inflation was 2%
I
over
thought
the
I'd
last
stand
3
in front of
months.
some trash in LA.
That's down from 11% over the prior 3 months. That's progress. Because of my economic plan, we are better positioned than any other major economy in the world to weather the challenges that come through this as a stronger country. If Republican wins, inflation is going to get worse. It's that simple.
Is there like a cat?
So he already knows you're gonna win, so he just.
I'm sorry. It looked like there was like an animal that was like in the rafters behind where he was talking. There was like something moving. I think it was like
I think they should name it the Hunter inflation.
Oh, the Hunter.
Because it's always high, even when Joe claims it isn't. So
he's trying jokes
I was so
up.
surprised it was a unanimous vote for
Not
the
working, bro.
subpoena, and what a coincidence that it's happening.
He's still bombing. He's bombing in a crowd of 4.
A few weeks before the midterms. But what are they trying to do? I have a feeling that they're secretly trying to re-elect Trump. Because this committee is proving what he and millions of pissed off supporters have always suspected, that the deck is stacked against them. This is a kangaroo court, right? Everybody there has their ideology, whether it's never Trumpism or the progressives. It's a stacked committee with preordained conclusions, with unlimited time and unlimited effort paid for by us, the taxpayer. So why would there be this outcome? Everybody sees this, and what they're in danger of doing is turning Trump into a martyr, because they're proving the point that they swayed the election. We remember that story in Time magazine when they boasted about being a cabal, the media, the Democrats, the tech companies. This thing just reminds you that they're hunting Trump and hunting Trump supporters. I think, I think a lot of people think that DeSantis is a better choice. He's maybe a younger, smoother, more sophisticated candidate. But then you could have people that just say, screw it, I'm going to vote for Trump because these people are idiots. And this is a scam. They're martyring him.
Do you want to comment on January 6th, inflation?
Do you want to comment? Dealer's choice. Do you want to comment on J6 or inflation?
They're so devious. They're so deceptive. They plot. They plan. They deceive. They knew this print was going to print hot today on inflation, and they timed this perfectly. Because this is going to probably blow out the inflation lead on the nightly news channels.
Well, we'll see.
And it's maybe a one-day.
Yeah, we'll see.
They did it here.
They did it here.
You're saying that there's an inflation report that happened and that they dropped the January 6th stuff tonight. Because they did postpone it for the hurricane, but then they just waited kind of after the hurricane.
Okay, but here's the thing. What if Trump goes to January 6th and then he just talks about inflation?
He just turns on Fox News and it's just the 5 and they just get to talk
and they talk about inflation. But that's the thing. Like, what if he comes in and he's just like, I know we're talking about January 6th, but I just want to talk about inflation. And then that'd be something that Trump
straight up politician. He's like, I would like to talk about inflation.
And then the 5 are like cheer and they're like, yeah, you talk about inflation.
We'll see.
I do have to say that I have not cared about, I haven't really thought about inflation that much, mainly because I have not been spending as much. Like, we haven't eaten out. Like, we have annual passes to Disney, and we haven't even gone to Disney because you go to Disney and like you're dropping like $100 just to like walk in the park.
Well, also, Kim, because we've been pretty particularly busy with our new app and development.
Yes, and also our Halloween feature film as well.
Yeah, that's going
to
be
very busy.
Very soon.
But honestly, I haven't been really like feeling it because we've cut down on spending. Which is an effect of inflation.
I still see it where you look at it and you go, I can't even get something to eat without giving away at least $10.
Yeah.
You're never predicting a meal under $10 anymore, and that's pretty crazy across America.
I mean, that used to be like just life in New York City, but
but not.
But now it's like everywhere. But
all right, The Beat with Ari Melber. Will the prediction of the 5 reign true?
No, it's MSNBC. They're going to talk January 6th because they're covering it.
But
it's
the lead-in that I was trying to do here. I was trying to like lead us into like the whole thing. Like I was like, will the prediction of the 5 reign true? The first one we'll give to the 5 and we'll say that was inflation, even though they mostly just complain about January 6th.
Yeah, but
and now we're going to go to MSNBC, which is clearly going to be J6. But will that hold through the entire night on everything? Let's get a scorecard going on this one here. Got 1 for inflation.
Wait, can they see Elaine? Or
they may or may not be able to see the edge of Elaine.
She's chowing down on this like bone. So
anyway, here we go.
At 8 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours from right now. But stay where you are because our coverage continues on The Beat with Ari Melber. Hi, Ari.
Hi, Nicole. I will see you very soon.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. I'm Ari
Why?
Melber.
What are they doing?
This is a special
edition later for dinner?
as we follow with our experts assembled here tonight some breaking news.
The subpoena. It's a subpoena.
The January 6th committee has subpoenaed
No way!
What? Historic move.
I've never seen this before.
Ever.
I'm watching MSNBC
between Donald Trump
just
and the
it on
Congress
at
over
7
whether
p.m.
he will show up, speak under oath, tell the truth. That's our top story. Well, tonight we will also be covering
like whether will he
breaking
really
news
show up?
coming out of the
story
Supreme
is-
Court
something else?
this afternoon.
What? Something else
The
happened?
Supreme Court rejecting Donald Trump's filing in that Mar-a-Lago stolen documents case. This ruling rebuffs Trump's attempt to try to slow down
You're like,
any review
we
of the
won
classified
today.
documents, which
We
the government says he
This is the
stole.
fuck Trump hour.
And this came out with no
We
dissents,
won.
meaning no justice is siding with or on behalf of Donald Trump's
We have more
position,
breaking news.
nor
Joe
his
Biden
effort to
sucks
try
at
to involve
inflation.
the High Court in what would normally be a pretty standard
Not gonna do that
review
one.
of stolen stuff. Later tonight, we also report on this newly revealed footage from inside the Congress in safe zones, bunkers, and other rooms.
There's this
where
footage of
congressional
Nancy
leaders were
Pelosi
in hiding
leaving.
as Trump
this
fans
is where they were in
launched their
hiding?
attacks during the insurrection.
And they're going to play that for everybody and think that we give a fuck about them.
Next, Speaker Pelosi was pleading for help, trying to get Donald Trump's federal government to act.
Yes, you see how she's sitting there?
Windows and going in, obviously ransacking our offices and all the rest of that. That's nothing. The concern we have about
how beat up is that couch you're sitting on?
Safety.
Personal harm.
As you can
see
see,
that
there's a
couch?
lot of news we're
That couch
tracking.
had
That's why
like
there's more
it
than
was
one
like
breaking
duct
story.
tape together.
This final January 6th hearing
Like
certainly
some
packed a punch,
basement.
evidence and material that made this news.
Shoved in
The other
some
news I
basement.
mentioned was
They're
reported
upset
They're
about
like,
it.
we were in a
It's a coincidence
basement,
that
guys.
came down tonight,
Like,
but we've got you covered
there
on
wasn't anything
all the stories.
expensive in there.
The big
couch
development
was
here
ripped.
is the path to hitting Donald Trump with this subpoena, the former president now under new legal pressure. And the chairs of this bipartisan committee spoke in unison on this point, both stressing
They all talked at the same
that this
time.
is not a step to be taken lightly, but it was required by accountability.
It was required.
This is a question about accountability to the American people.
Accountability.
He must be accountable.
We have sufficient information to consider criminal referrals.
I can't wait for him to be interviewed.
But let me guess. They're not going to do it publicly. They're not going to sit down with him.
They have to.
They're going to go in some secret room and film him and have some fucking random person asking questions that's not Lashani instead of being a fucking big baller and being like, you come down here and I fucking talk to you.
I think
that was the rationale.
I think Trump
The vote
should go.
was historic.
Kanye should join him, and he just like
a democracy that works.
Hey,
and
yeah.
I think Trump. I'm trying to tell you. I think Trump should go, and then Kanye's there in the back, and like Trump talks, and Kanye's like, yeah, like he's like backing him up, and it's like a Trump and Kanye thing. Like that would be the most entertaining thing of all time. Trump and Kanye would like backing him up. Who else? Who else would back him up? Alex Jones would try to get in, and Trump's like, "No, dude, this is not. You're done."
You're done. Wait, what if it's Ron, or what if it's Ron DeSantis and Mitt Romney versus
What?
Donald Trump and Kanye?
In a rap battle? What are you doing?
For the Republican nomination, it comes like they're tight in that primary.
Kanye's just running.
And they both
independent
released
again.
their vice presidential candidates, and it's Kanye and it's Mitt Romney. What you doing? You staying stable? Are you getting risky?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? It means Donald Trump gets riskier, and it means that Ron DeSantis gets more stable.
Well, see, that's how Biden got elected, because you had people look at the choices and they're like, Donald Trump or Kanye. Guess I'm choosing Biden.
Right.
But still, that would be very entertaining courtroom. That is, if Trump does show up, that will like everyone has to just take off that day, like the O.J. Simpson trial. Like it's gonna rank up there, like Trump on the stand before the January 6th committee.
Dude, yeah.
Oh man.
It'd be wild, but I don't think that that's what they mean by this. I think they're trying to get everybody excited for like a pay-per-view that's never gonna happen.
That's really disappointing.
Like they're gonna, cause they're so
They could sell
shady.
tickets to that.
They're so shady. They don't really want to talk to him. They want to fucking try to catch him in a lie.
I think I'm supposed to have this pointed down because all the people in the 5, except for Jesse Waters, had it pointed down. Because he had like a tie and stuff. I don't know, but the ladies had it pointed. The ladies had it pointed down, so I'm just gonna take their lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be down at your chest. So yeah.
Yeah, because it's picking up this. All right.
Okay, so
So
now
far,
we're back to Fox now.
I feel like this has kind of been a weird all over the place thing already.
What happened? Wait.
What?
So did CNN change their programming?
Mm-hmm. What? You were right there. Where?
I'm so confused.
What?
Because I don't see Aaron Burnett.
Well, you're going so fast, I can't see anything. I thought she was right. She's right there. She's right there. No, that's Frederica. They all kind of look the same.
they all do look the same.
They all got the straight hair, the same like. Well, why don't you just search for it?
It wasn't broadcast, and I'm wondering if there was some kind of January 6th coverage that we missed on CNN here.
I'm gonna make my phone on silent. I'm getting texts, guys.
Oh no, it's just they got rid of her to do CNN Tonight.
CNN Tonight.
Over and over and over again.
Tonight, it's CNN Tonight.
So we are here.
Do people appreciate my singing?
Oh man, I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry, people on this.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite a lull, Alex.
Okay, here we go.
Special report with Brett Baer.
Yes.
I didn't know any of that. Anyway, that's it for us.
Do that.
So we're back to Fox. So we skip CNN?
Special guest host.
We don't cover CNN yet.
I thought we said that was foul earlier today. Can't get rid of me.
You're right.
Thank you, Dana. Great show. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bill Hemmer in tonight for Brett Baer, and we are watching three major
Bill Hemmer
stories.
now.
First, a dramatic day in the trial of a Russian national accused of lying to the FBI about the Steele dossier. The Congressional Committee investigating last year's Capitol riot votes to subpoena the former president, Donald Trump. And relations between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia hitting new lows over the OPEC decision to cut oil production.
Oh, yeah, they're like
but
mad
there
each
is
other.
more bad economic news with only 26 days before the midterms. For the second straight day, we received worse than expected inflation numbers, and that has the White House scrambling for an explanation.
No one
Jackie
cares
Heinrich starts us off
about
tonight
this
from
Trump
the North Lawn
investigation.
there.
It's
Jackie,
at 17%.
Good evening to you, Bill. There is
Inflation was
no
at 33.
timeline on when the consequences for the Saudis that President Biden has talked about might come. Biden first wants to consult with Congress, and they're out of session until after the midterms. But officials here are starting to paint a bit clearer of a picture of what it all might look like.
The White House getting vocal about how seriously the president's considering calls from Congress to scale back arms sales to Saudi Arabia after OPEC Plus rejected White House pleas and slashed oil production.
That's absolutely going to be on the table, Neil. I can tell you that will be an option that the president looks at, is the spate and the scale, the size, the whole program of arms sales.
The news prompting a rare exchange of public jabs. Saudi Arabia rejecting U.S. accusations it has sided with Russia, framing the production cuts as purely economic, and a decision, quote, taken unanimously by all member states of the OPEC Plus group. The Saudis further alleged the White House pushed for a 1-month delay,
And then it's like,
fueling speculation.
when we
Biden
get back
wanted to
from
pass off bad
Congress,
news
we'll
until
stop giving you weapons.
They wanted a 1-month delay. They just said they wanted a 1-month delay. So can you do it after our midterms? And Saudi Arabia's like, hell no. We're just going to not.
No, they wanted a 1-month delay because they wanted to do it before or after the midterms.
After the midterms.
And guess what just happened with the labor unions with the whole railroads? There was 18 unions in the railroads.
Yeah.
17 of them voted yes. One of them, their union members voted no.
Okay.
And so now it's all back to bargaining. But guess what? They're not legally allowed to actually protest or picket until November 17th. So it's nothing to worry about for the midterms or for like worrying about it in general. That's according to NPR in the morning, the briefing.
Wow.
Because it won't be a political issue this time around. And hopefully it will be resolved sometime around Thanksgiving before things get worse.
Maybe they just
So
want...
hear it here first. When no one can get any food around Thanksgiving 2 weeks after the election, regardless of who wins, just
That's gonna be a bad holiday.
That's a bad time.
That's why
to be stopping the railroads.
That's why Costco's selling Christmas trees right now. They've been
Right?
selling Christmas trees for like the past month.
They know.
You've seen them in the store.
They know.
Oh, you guys know. You guys know. It's like officially Christmas season, I guess, everywhere now. They're just trying to get that in before everything falls apart.
It all falls
They're
apart.
like, buy your Christmas tree.
I know there's a nuke coming your way, but buy the Christmas tree. Hurry. Oh, okay. We can get out of that one. But that was so that was inflation. Now we got NewsNation. So we got 2 inflation and we got 1 J6.
NewsNation. NewsNation.
1 J6 and 1 and 2 inflation.
Right now on Rush Hour, the January 6th House Committee votes to subpoena former President Donald Trump. But will the former president actually testify? And why this has turned into a race against time. Life in prison for the gunman who killed 17 people at a Florida high school. Fiery reaction from parents after more than 4 years of waiting for justice.
One person held out.
A missing Georgia toddler is now believed to be dead. The prime suspect, police say, is part of his family, and why they haven't made an arrest. Plus, the Washington Commanders owner says he has enough dirt to blow up the National Football League.
What?
The latest scandal rocking the NFL and the threats
What's the dirt?
is making.
Wait,
but of course, we do have some breaking news here.
That's the Commanders. That's Washington. The people that's the Redskins. That's the Redskins.
An active shooter?
Active shooter. Our station there is on the scene right now. They say the golf club is closed. It's pulled all golfers into safety. We will stay on this. We'll bring you the very latest right here on Rush Hour. We get to our top story now. Major developments in the House Committee's investigation into January 6th. Just hours ago, that committee unanimously voting to subpoena former President Trump. Correspondent Evan Lambert is live in Washington. Evan, committee also showed some never-before-seen video evidence
of the people in the basement.
They did, Nicole, and this subpoena, it is seeking testimony under oath and documents from the former
Nancy
president.
Pelosi had to sit in a fucking waiting room for a minute. Oh no. Look how scary it was.
Hold on.
Do you believe this
shit? We're gaining access into the Capitol.
I'm sorry, how goofy you gotta fucking be to think that that's in danger? That's in danger? She's wearing fucking heels! She's running in heels!
So was Bryce Dallas Howard in Jurassic?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, she ran from dinosaurs in heels. And, oh my God, look at her. Yeah, they had to still social distance her and tape her up. Jesus fucking Christ.
That's why there's tape on there.
They're putting on their tear gas masks.
Oh my God, just perpetuating fear. Constantly
everyone just looks really bored.
Pelosi
they don't
these people trying they look excited and trying to manipulate the
Secretary
situation.
of Defense to send in the National Guard.
It was just horrendous, and all at the instigation of the President of the United States.
On Thursday,
she has her legs folded, sitting down, talking on the phone, going, I cannot believe he's doing this.
In its nearly 16-month-long investigation of the riot on
Life
that day.
in danger?
When you look back at what has come out through this committee's work, the most striking...
Kim.
Yeah.
I sit like this on the phone. Hi, this is the most seditious president in U.S. history. Am I in danger of being kidnapped?
No.
Do I think my life's in danger?
It's not very dramatic.
And you just released this footage telling us that this is this dramatic footage of Nancy Pelosi's life in danger. I know we're going to get it in the comment section, especially in the reels for this one. But it's just, I'm sorry. The one thing that I'm never going to get past at the January 6th, the one thing I will defend, is how ridiculous all of your evidence looks. Oh no, they broke a window. Oh no, there's a hole in a mirror. Oh no, he put a foot on my desk. Oh no, this man painted his face and ran around in an empty room after you all went in a basement. Oh, here's some new footage, us in the basement, talking on the phone, tweeting about it, bitching some more. Like, what the fuck? None of this is anything that I'm like, oh my God, 9/11, oh my God, 9/11. None of that is alarming to me. I'm a human fucking being. And that's what you see when you watch that. There's nothing else to see.
Yeah, it's not very dramatic. It's not like...
no one's in danger.
Not like if you got a footage of like the Parkland shooting, I'm sure that's a lot more scary because that was actually real people in danger.
Isn't it funny how we have to show the Nancy Pelosi walking through the basement of the Capitol all night long on the news tonight instead of showing the actual victims of the Parkland shooting and how they don't have any justice tonight because one person that believes in Nancy Pelosi lives in Florida and held out the other fucking 11 people that wanted to kill this motherfucker that had video of himself saying, all I want to do is murder children. And then walking in and one by one shooting people and killing them and shooting them in the head and all kinds of other crazy shit. That is real. That is real danger. And you can't put that up against Nancy Pelosi in a basement and tell me that I'm supposed to give a fuck about this dumb 100-year-old bitch.
I really like Pelosi in a basement. Pelosi in the basement.
Pelosi in the basement. It's a fucking rap video. Fucking get on Snoop Dogg. You can fucking
someone get on that.
Sell it.
Make some Pelosi in a basement happen.
I'm not going to get favored tonight. I know it. I'm going to get all this hate and people are going to keep, oh, you're stupid. It's like, I don't know.
Alex,
I look with my own fucking eyes and this is retarded.
No one likes Nancy Pelosi.
No, I know that. But I'm saying there's going to be people that are going to say, why are you trivializing it? They were really in danger. Their lives were really in danger. You don't sit like that with your legs crossed, leaned back in a leather chair, talking on a cell phone if your life is in danger.
No.
You just don't.
I mean, she's also kind of like half dead inside, so you know it's not like she
has.
There we
go. This is Wolf
happening now. The January 6th Select Committee punctuates its final hearing before the midterm elections with a bombshell: a subpoena for former President Donald Trump. The panel also playing harrowing, never-before-seen footage of congressional leaders sheltering from the mob during the attack.
You're right. It's not very harrowing.
They
got Triscuits. They had to eat Triscuits. It was harrowing, okay? They never... Triscuits. Oh, my God.
They're fucking eating Triscuits.
Oh, man.
Suck a dick. I'm sorry. Nobody gives a fuck about your fucking stupid bullshit with Donald Trump and your fucking Triscuits. I would like some fucking cash in my pocket to pay for the fucking gasoline since you fucked us by giving the losing people money in a war. Should have just fucking went with Russia, dummy. God. Let's just go with it. Like, I don't fucking know, man. This shit is...
on Capitol Hill today. Former President Donald Trump now facing a subpoena from the January 6th Select Committee. Our chief congressional correspondent, Manu Raju, has a closer look at all the latest news
fucking
from today's
Triscuits.
hearing.
Those in
fucking really?
Nancy Pelosi in the basement eating Triscuits.
Eating Triscuits.
Like,
and then... Okay. So we know how the rest of the night is going to go now, guys. Nancy Pelosi's life is in danger. Don't worry about the Parkland shooter.
What's next? What's this next one? What's this next one?
Here we go.
Oh, CBS
NBC,
Evening News.
CBS.
Tonight, the historic move by the January 6th committee voting unanimously to subpoena Donald Trump.
Because that matters more than an actual shooting.
President, the driving force behind the assault on the U.S. Capitol.
He must be accountable.
We must
Nancy Pelosi eats Triscuits while children die in schools from school
The
shootings.
startling evidence that Donald Trump knew
That's
there'd
your
be
leader.
violence, and the never-before-seen video of congressional leadership during the
Triscuits,
assault.
fucking Triscuits,
CBS's
texting,
Scott McFarlane has the new
tweeting, wearing your
details.
mask. Don't let anybody take
No
a photo
death
of you.
penalty. The
Oh
outrage
yeah,
and tears in
fucking.
the courtroom after a jury recommends the Parkland shooter get life without
That's
parole.
people in fucking danger.
Yeah, that's people in danger. See how they're running
Killed
across
in the
a
line of
lawn?
duty.
For
Three
their
Connecticut
life?
For
police
their
officers
life.
apparently ambushed.
See,
leaving
even
two
that.
dead,
Like, I'm sorry, you
including a
can't.
father of two
You're putting this up for
on the
America.
way.
You're putting us all up
CBS's
here,
Lilia
and then you're going to
Luciano
go
is
into
on
the
the
first
scene.
story and you're going to say,
Our hearts are broken.
after we see all that.
Red hot inflation.
In this,
Prices
we're going to see
are
all
up
that.
everywhere.
And then
From
the first
grocery
thing that they're
store
going
to
to
the
tell us
gas
that we're
station,
going to
even
care
at the
about
bar.
is Nancy Pelosi's
Plus,
fucking
what happened
bullshit.
today on Wall Street.
All these things going on in the world, guys. Recap the actual news for you. Now we're going to start with
This is
Nancy
the
Pelosi eating
CBS Evening
Triscuits.
News with Nora O'Donnell, reporting from the nation's
Here we
capital.
go.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this busy Thursday night. It was a dramatic ending to what's expected to be the final January 6th hearing. A vote to subpoena
because you care about that
President
the
Trump
most,
to
right?
appear before
Even though
Congress.
everyone's already told you
you
don't.
Shocking new
There's
evidence
polls
and
out.
never before
You
seen
don't.
video. That video showed congressional leaders at a secure location, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, calling state and federal officials to plead for help.
Social distance.
Yeah, but they were sitting next to each other. They were not social distancing.
Well, yeah, because they had to conspire their tweets.
That's a little much.
They were sitting there with their tweets. No, say that he insurrected us.
Wait. There's like a bronze statue of Trump that they were holding up. That
was great. Yeah, you have a lot of news to get to tonight, and you're going to cover this instead. This fucking buffoonery. Oh, well, I can just go to the actual hearings if I want to hear the hearings, guys. All right, ABC now. Because we might as well just get to that, because that's all that's going to happen tonight.
I want to see Trump's reaction. Come on, is he going to react to it? Did he
Can we
tweet
just
about
do
it
that?
yet?
Can we do like a pay-per-view? Trump reacts to the J6 hearings. You just do it as a series.
Tonight, the never-before-seen images behind the scenes at the Capitol on January 6th.
It's
and tonight,
crazy.
the January
It's
6th
crazy.
committee
So
subpoenas former President Trump.
So many
in an
Triscuits.
historic
So many
move,
fucking
calling the
Triscuits.
former president to testify under
There wasn't
oath
even, the
about
thing is, there
attacks
wasn't
on the US
cheese
Capitol.
for the Triscuits.
Don't
It was just
trivialize
Triscuits.
it. Officers died from killing themselves because of your propaganda.
Congressional leaders from both parties. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi
Every one of the
taken to a
officers
secure location,
killed themselves.
making
Every
efforts to
one of them.
protect the Capitol. Leaders
Except for one that had a
asking
brain
the
aneurysm
administration
2
to
days
get the
after
president
the attack.
to tell his supporters to go home. Leaders from both parties, from Speaker Pelosi to Mitch McConnell, seen huddling together. And then from former Vice President Mike Pence. What he reveals on speakerphone that would prove so pivotal that night. Jonathan Karl standing by. He's
they're fucking running. They're running.
Late today, the Supreme Court rejecting
so
former
scared.
President Trump's emergency request involving those classified
But watch, they're going to show us everything else. They're going to show us Parkland. They're going to show us the inflation. They're going to show us all that. And then they're going to say, you know what you care about?
In the Parkland shootings.
Donald
the jury
Trump.
Sparing Nicholas
See, they're going to show us
the
all
death
of it.
penalty. Parkland families
All these
walking out
actual stories,
Tonight, the
real
deadly
things that
police
happened
ambush,
today.
2 police officers
And then they're
killed,
like,
a third
and back
seriously
to
wounded.
Nancy Pelosi.
Were they lured in by a suspicious 911 call? The new numbers here tonight on inflation here in the U.S. The prices you're paying for everything. Also,
Shows progress.
change to Social Security payments.
Oh, what a report! Buried at the end of the newscast and say that it's progress.
Several crew members sickened. The war in Ukraine tonight with 40 towns struck in just 24 hours, some with kamikaze
Wow, 40
drones.
towns struck in Ukraine, but hey, you know what we care about more though?
Watches and dangerous driving. Heavy rain,
Floods.
damaging
People are
winds,
dying.
Washington,
People are
DC,
dying of
right up
floods
through New
everywhere
York
too,
and
guys.
and made in America the largest pumpkin in America, and the teacher who drove it more than 2,000 miles to win.
I think that is the lead. That is the
they're
lead
saving
story.
that for last to be like, life.
No, but that's
okay.
the lead story. That's what we all care about.
Good evening, and it's great
But
to have you with
instead,
us
it's
here
going to
on
be
Thursday night. We begin tonight with that
here
historic
is Nancy
move from the
Pelosi eating
January
Triscuits.
6th
Oh my God,
committee
you guys see
voting
this video?
unanimously to subpoena former President Trump.
She walked
to
through a
testify
hallway
under
and then
oath
went
about
into a
January
basement
6th.
on her cell phone
This
and then
afternoon, in
tweeted
front
Jack
of the American
Dorsey.
people,
Oh
the
my
committee
God.
making the case that the
It
former
was so
president
fucking
was,
scary.
quote, required to answer for his actions.
Ignore the mass murderers in the
And tonight,
fucking
the
schools.
never-before-seen video.
Ignore
Leaders
the
from both parties
inflation.
behind the scenes
All
at the
right, here we
Capitol
go. There
as
it is.
Ignore the
building.
war with
House
40
Speaker
missiles
Nancy
getting
Pelosi,
attacked.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, and others making calls trying to secure the Capitol, trying to move forward with their constitutional duty to certify the election.
Secure the Capitol.
And then the moment, the phone call from former Vice President Mike Pence, what he revealed on speakerphone to congressional leaders there, that authorities had told him that he and members of Congress would in fact be able to return to the chamber to certify the election. So with former President Trump now subpoenaed, what next?
Okay.
Here's our chief.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry.
It's
That's not very
ridiculous. You're going
dramatic.
to cover all, but it's funny with these national news outlets because they have to cover all the actual news still in their briefing.
Yeah.
And you get to see all the real stories, all the things that you would actually care about. And then they're like, let's feed you some bullshit.
It's moved by the January 6th committee to subpoena former President Donald Trump. The committee voting to seek testimony and documents from Mr. Trump in its final hearing before the midterms. The panel making its case.
And you can't tell me this ain't 1984. You can't tell me that they're not controlled by each other when tonight and tonight only, they all in unison. We've been doing this for 6 weeks now. Tonight in unison, they will all speak the same message.
6th. And
only tonight.
Seen video of lawmakers.
Well, it's
only during the hearing.
All the news speaks the same finale because then they pick back up. So this is the last meeting of the before
but
the
it's the same message. It's J6 documents, inflation. This, you know, it's lining up the same exact stories, same exact angles, and then January 6th goes first.
Shooter. The jury rejecting the death penalty, recommending life in prison for killing 17 people. The emotions in the courtroom, victims' family members shaking their heads.
I just can't believe you wouldn't talk about that first.
Outrage tonight. Breaking news in North
Carolina. Or the fucking shooting actually happening right now.
What we're learning. And the burning nursery.
What?
Babies trapped inside and
burning nurseries. Okay. Know what you care about though?
This is
Pumpkins.
NBC Nightly News.
Nancy Pelosi Triscuits.
Good evening, everyone. New images and a new demand for Donald Trump to answer directly to the January 6th committee.
Oh, I can't wait to watch that shit because they're gonna release some dumb footage of themselves. You know that.
They already released it. Oh, we got Cuomo.
I know.
Cuomo. All right, let's see what he's gonna do.
But no, this
What's
isn't
he gonna teach us tonight?
Cuomo though. This isn't Cuomo.
This is Leland Vittert.
Yeah.
Ah.
Before.
They were just advertising Cuomo.
Nicole, great show.
Ooh, that purple tie. Ooh, oh yeah.
Good evening. I'm Leland Vittert.
Fetterman.
Thanks for joining us on the program tonight. Democrats turn on their own.
In small talk before the interview without captioning, it wasn't clear he was understanding our conversation.
Why a reporter's candid assessment of Senate candidate John Fetterman turned Democrats on the usually friendly network.
Frustration from Adams and whoa.
Prosecutors charged Davante Adams why, despite video evidence, the NFL will likely do nothing. Police used DNA to create lifelike pictures of suspects. What could possibly go wrong with this Pandora's box? Plus, you paid for it. Why Amtrak executives get fat bonuses from taxpayers despite losing money and dismal service. But first, you know there's something going on when journalists.
Oh, so now they're going to go at Amtrak, and it's like, what the fuck, dude?
Hold on. With Pennsylvania Senate candidate John Fetterman. That's significant because Fetterman recently suffered a stroke and admits to auditory processing issues like the ones that came up during the interview.
I always thought I was pretty emphatic. I think I was very, empathetic. That's an example of the stroke, empathetic. I always thought I was very empathetic before having a stroke.
If you don't know how to say the word empathetic,
during the interview, Fetterman's looking at a computer
Although, to be fair, I just kind of
closed
mispronounced it when I was
captioning.
rehearsing an actor later.
Went to pains to explain the agreements that went into the interview. Fetterman's first interview in person rather than via video conferencing, where he could use captioning.
I sometimes will hear things in a way that's not perfectly clear, so I use captioning. So I'm able to see what you're saying in captioning, and I'm able to respond with the question.
And that's the auditory processing.
Yeah, that auditory processing where I'll hear someone speaking, but sometimes I'll be able to be.
I mean, he sounds better than Joe Biden now, so it's like, I don't fucking know, man. Like,
Joe Biden's a pretty low bar.
That's your fucking standard. Like, what the fuck, man?
Dasha Burns told the
Can
truth.
we just say Herschel Walker and this guy both just fucking know?
News with Lester Holt.
They say no to both of them. If you're mentally challenged and you're like fucked up in the head,
talk before the interview without captioning,
you don't get to fucking write the
what are they
law.
our conversation.
And then kablowie. The media world blew up. How dare she offer an unfavorable explanation about a stroke survivor? Had she never heard of the American with Disabilities Act? She must be prejudiced against those who have had a stroke. Never mind, of course, he's a Senate candidate for the United States Senate, the world's most deliberative body. Never mind. Debate and conversation is a huge part of being a senator and representing your state. The media couldn't believe a member of their tribe.
She wasn't even trying to stay
of the media.
She was trying to stay in the
would
box.
Offer such a candid
and
observation.
still got canceled.
Got so
this
bad.
Is what can happen.
Burns had to go on the Today Show this morning to defend
This is what can
herself.
happen to you.
Since then, other
She was in
journalists
it.
who
She's
also
on
dealt
NBC.
with Fetterman
Wait,
came forward and
she's
said
going to the
they
Today
had
Show
a
to defend
different
herself.
experience.
Yeah, and Savannah, that's completely fair that was their experience. We can only report our own. I will say it's important to note that according to the campaign itself, our team was the first to be in the room with Fetterman for an interview rather than via remote video conference.
Colby Halls here, founding editor of Mediaite, the premier website for news about the news.
So
and
it was the
on-balance
first
resident
ever interview.
Philosopher. Boy.
I'm glad that she's sticking to her guns.
I'm glad the NewsNation is covering it. This is the shit we need to hear about before an election, not Donald Trump bad, Nancy Pelosi, Triscuit's good.
May hurt him in the election.
Yeah, God forbid a journalist tell the truth. To your point, the tribalism's more important than the facts, which is supposed to be obviously the other way around. It brings up a really important point, though, about John Fetterman. He's running for the United States Senate, not for dog catcher, not for town council, not for some random office of the mine commissioner of Pennsylvania. This is important stuff, and yet he seems to be doing the same thing that President Trump was so criticized for, which is not revealing his medical records. Take a listen to him explaining that.
Well, I feel like we have been very transparent in a lot of different ways. When our doctor has already given a letter saying that I'm able to serve and to be running. And then I think you can't be any more transparent than standing up on a stage with 3,000 people and having a speech with.
Yeah, that's the thing that keeps happening is that there's this notion, and it happened after Hillary Clinton, where it's like, no, it's because we covered Gary Johnson. It's because you said Hillary Clinton was bad. It's because you let Donald Trump onto SNL. It's because of what you've done in the media that you have so much power, you could have stopped Donald Trump. And so then that notion goes into these people on an everyday basis. And now you're talking about a senator in a state being interviewed by a local interviewer. And she's saying, I couldn't understand him. And they're responding back, not mad at her because she couldn't understand him, but mad at her because it's the same thing as the Hillary Clinton thing. Don't you understand? Fetterman needs to win, because if Dr. Oz wins, then democracy is over, and Nancy Pelosi doesn't get Triscuit, she gets Reese's peanut butter cups instead, and she is allergic to peanut butter. Like, what the fuck are we after?
Yeah, that's very true.
It's a Senate candidate. We're getting lost in it now,
no,
guys.
Because they're
fucking, they're worried. The president is one thing. The Senate is a real thing.
Okay, but yeah, and also here's the thing. They're worried because it's pretty obvious that Republicans are going to win the House in midterms. But the Senate is something that is like, they're really terrified about and trying to figure out what's going to happen.
But why should you be terrified if you're just a fucking journalist? You should just be a journalist first.
Well, exactly. No, that's the point. But I'm saying
don't cover Fetterman if you're worried about doing it.
There's this fear that the Republicans are going to take over the Senate as well, and then they will control all of Congress.
And that's the same fear that they used for Hillary Clinton. That's the same fear they used for we need to get out Donald Trump. And they just keep adding this fear.
It's the same fear when they had the candidates in Georgia, because then they had to have the 50 or they had to have the split, and it's very. But that was interesting that they actually covered that, and I just have to say props to that reporter Dasha Burns for really sticking to her guns, and also like she's relatively new, no one knows this lady, this reporter, and now she's like famous, and at least she's being strong in support of sticking to her guns and being like, no, I'm a journalist. Like this is my.
That's what it is. Yeah, because a lot of people in her position, being able to have a level up in this right now, would say, "Oh no, I just wanted to recant my last statement. Sorry, guys. What I really meant was that once he had his computer, he was able to communicate very articulately." No, instead she goes, no, I'm going to be honest here. I couldn't understand him, and he knew nothing of what I was saying.
Yeah.
So that's a scary thing, because I was under this microscope that you were all under, that he was able to do whatever was whatever, and now I'm the first person to see him. I have to tell you, he's a lot worse than we thought he was. And the people that do that are going to help out people so much more than the people that fucking go, oh yeah, Joe Biden, he's totally fine.
I wonder if he's still going to do his debate with Dr. Oz.
We'll
Because like one thing, like I feel like you've got to.
That pushed so far.
I feel like he's got to, because
if
then
he can do it. I don't know that he can. That's the thing. That's what that lady was pretty much bringing to the table. It's like, I don't think he can really do this job.
No, because they're doing the thing where it's like he's gonna have that device on the debate stage.
Yeah.
And actually do the same thing.
You should be able to. You should be able to dictate the question off of the reading. And the way that he explained it in that interview made sense, where he was saying that it's just out of a necessity of making sure to keep up with the words, and that sometimes they get jumbled in his brain, and he wants to make sure that he gets everything right. Especially now in today's age, I get it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years everybody's walking around with some Google glasses that translate everything so that you can make sure that that's what the person was saying to you.
Yeah.
So you don't get misunderstood. So I get it, but at the same time, when he's responding back, he's not responding back with a level of intelligence that, as I see, of a normal adult education level.
It's not like he's Stephen Hawking.
No, he seems slower. I'm sorry. Like, it takes him a while to
be fair,
say
I think a lot of people are slower than Stephen Hawking was. Stephen Hawking was genius.
Slower than me
All
or
right.
you.
Where are we at? All right, Erin Burnett.
Erin Burnett.
So you did find her.
Out front next, the January 6th committee subpoenas.
Unemployment at historic lows.
Shows never before seen.
And now Donald Trump
scrambling for
and
help
how he
on
almost
the day of
ruined
the
America.
insurrection. And Russia's brutal revenge on Ukraine tonight, now using kamikaze drones from Iran.
so
they are
ill
cheap and
after,
deadly.
like, 3 seconds,
we are live
too.
in
Like,
Kyiv
are
and
you
Moscow
nuts?
tonight. Plus, life without
That's the
parole
shit
for
all
the
day.
gunman in the Parkland school massacre. Fred Gutenberg, whose daughter was killed in the shooting, says the jury failed him and the other victims' families today. He's my guest. Let's go out.
So we're supposed to care about all those other stories too.
And good evening, I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, Trump
the most
subpoenaed
important one is
the January 6th Select Committee voting to subpoena the
Do
former
you see,
president,
like,
Donald
when
J.
we
Trump,
do this
for
show,
his
it's
role
never
in
like
the
this.
insurrection.
And now on tonight, every one of them has the same 5 stories. They leave them all, and then they say, out front here, we go. And that's
He's required to
January
answer
6th.
to those
Every
police
time.
officers who put their lives and bodies.
Well, because it's the same thing. That's why. Like, the reason why we're skipping over it is because we essentially know it's the same verbatim story.
Again, and this is where the theories come in, where people speculate. They go, oh, the CIA is in charge of the media, or they all are MSM and all that shit.
What's this now?
Tonight on the readout.
Oh, the red. Fucking red. Whoa.
Why did we lose audio?
So this
Because they lost audio 'cause they're a
afternoon, I am
garbage
offering
show.
this resolution that the committee direct the chairman to issue a subpoena for relevant documents and testimony under oath from Donald John Trump.
I really want that guy in the back to be like, oh, like, can that guy react? Can we get some reacting?
Testimony under oath.
Why is it so weird
And then
with
they,
the audio?
and then they fucked up the audio again too. No, that's not our audio. That's them.
It's before the election.
They're
If
garbage.
Trump lost,
Garbage
he would declare
show.
victory
Joey
anyway
Reid, garbage
and do
show.
literally
Most
anything
important night of her
to
career.
stay in power.
Fail.
While Trump ultimately
Fail at your
failed, the threat is
propaganda.
ongoing.
The threat is
Republicans who
ongoing.
stoked the insurrection are running for
Propaganda,
re-election, while the new crop of far-right candidates will gladly overturn the next one if they don't like the results. And we begin tonight with the House January 6th committee.
Yeah, and they just subpoenaed him. I get it.
Oh, no,
Jesse
we're
Waters.
Jesse Waters.
Back
Good
to Fox
evening.
News,
I
and they're
love
going to
how
go
you said it.
inflation
Thank you so
because
much,
they're only
Bill.
allowed to
Sure.
cover 5 stories tonight because the CIA operates
5
what? The
stories.
media.
All right, let's see.
We all have moments in life where we wake up and we realize that our dreams aren't working out. Practice all you want, you're not going to be the quarterback for the Birds.
Hey, you haven't
Playing
played
Adam
in years.
Sandler
Why can't
movies?
I be quarterback, huh? You're right. Let's see what you
Distracted.
got.
Distracted. Adam Sandler.
Hit me, I'm
Remember Adam
open.
Sandler? It's funny.
That's why. Now sit down and shut up.
And you're not just one break away from scoring that record deal.
Come on, turn it on.
Robin
Run it
Williams.
up, blow it out.
Distracted.
Why did they show that clip?
Because these movies are like famous for them.
Right now, Democrats are having that moment with the economy, though I don't think Joe Biden realizes it yet.
Democrats are working to bring down the cost of things.
What the fuck does that mean?
Around the kitchen table.
And what is a kitchen table? You don't even believe in a kitchen table.
We don't have a kitchen table.
Joe Biden,
they don't even believe in it.
Century has destroyed your money. Inflation printed red hot again, 8.2%, a four-decade high, up again from September. Your 401k is down 25% this year. Don't even look at it. You'll just get upset.
Oh,
your paychecks are being robbed like they're riding the subway. Wages have gone down every single month Joe's been in office. Look at that, every single month. Biden's economy's garnishing your wages like
I think people do care about seeing those graphs a lot more than they care about J6.
Your money's
I do think that that's true.
And the cost of
I
things
think that they're
shot
feeding
up.
the same thing. They're like, look at
13%,
this.
20% increase in energy. Biden's blowing up the economy like it's a pipeline. And he's like OJ, still searching for the real culprit.
The biggest problem is the world's challenge, global inflation, and the pandemic, and Putin's unconscionable invasion of Ukraine.
But if you strip the politics out of it, like they do on Wall Street, it's Biden and the Democrats' fault. But the experts at Morgan Stanley, they get it. They say this: excessive fiscal stimulus provided during the pandemic, particularly the last $1.9 trillion package at the end of March 2021,
Right.
just as the economy was already emerging from the lockdowns.
They added
in our
on
view,
at the end and
this
Green
was what
initiative.
turbocharged consumption and drove inflation to 40-year
And where did it
highs.
go?
So the $2 trillion COVID relief bill that didn't provide any relief since everybody caught COVID, a bill that not a single Republican voted for.
Oh, they're so
turbocharged
excited
prices.
about this story.
But the Biden administration says, at least we're doing better than Venezuela. And not even CNN's buying that.
There's no way to really sugarcoat this report. Prices rose at 8.2%. What is the administration doing, and what can the administration do aside from just telling Americans to be patient at this point?
The first and most important point is that the United States is in a better and stronger position to take this challenge head on than virtually any other country in the world.
Brian, just telling Americans that things aren't as bad here as they are around the world really isn't a reassuring statement.
America is in a stronger position than Bangladesh.
But hey, you know, fucking Nancy Pelosi.
If during Katrina, Bush said, yeah, the French Quarter's flooded, but Indonesia is totally underwater. Does that make you feel better?
It is a recession. I'm sorry.
It is.
It's
coming.
here.
It's coming.
It's here.
No, but this is part of the media. That's what I'm
You know,
saying.
you
It's
might
the
lose your
media.
job,
These
but
channels
maybe
are all
keep your
fucking in
house.
cahoots. And
Don't
they're told
worry,
that
the
they can only
Democrats
talk
have a
about
plan.
certain things today.
They're going to blame the recession on the Republicans.
The Republicans have an explicit incentive to make the economy worse. And I will tell you, having covered the Tea Party Congress of 2011 amidst the recovery from the financial crisis, I feel confident in predicting that if Republicans win control of one or both houses of Congress, they will do everything in their power to sabotage the economy, to best set them up to retake the White House in 2024.
That's not what happened
Joe
with the
Biden
Tea
must
Party.
have watched that
But
guy who
also, like,
identifies as Maddow
every
and
single
plagiarized
Republican is just talking about how the
Republican
economy
wins,
is
inflation's
shit and they
gonna
will
get
fix
worse.
it.
It's that simple.
This is like saying if the Republicans win, Putin's going to invade Ukraine. He already did.
Yeah, I know.
How could Republicans bankrupt the country if Joe already did it? It can't get any worse than this.
All right, the news is Shepard Smith.
We don't talk about the economy, no, no, no. We don't talk about the economy. Oh.
Breaking news and a live look, Raleigh, North Carolina.
At the golf,
an active
people
shooter
died.
alert. Reports
golf
of a
course?
man in camouflage shooting multiple people.
Yeah,
And
but
our
you know,
local station
worry
reports
about Donald
there
Trump
are
footage.
multiple fatalities.
Cover that first.
A cop among those shot.
No.
Plus,
Yep.
the Committee
No,
of
but
Congress
plus,
investigating
but
the
first.
insurrection at the Capitol votes to subpoena former President Trump.
Yeah, but
to
I respect
testify
Shepard Smith, so
under
he better
oath.
not fuck this up.
I'm Shepard Smith. This
We'll
is
see.
the news
We'll see if he
on
goes to
CNBC.
I really
central
feel like they're
cause of
operating
January
because
6th
like
was
it's
one
never
man,
been like this. It's so
Donald Trump,
orchestrated. Every single
many
fucking
others
show
followed.
is the
This
same
is a
show.
fraud
Exactly the
on the
same show.
American public.
You get to
Their
pick your
plan
angle.
is to literally
Do you want to
kill
talk about the economy or do you want to talk about Donald Trump on
concern
January
we have
6th?
about
So here are the 7 stories, and you're going to all run the same exact trailer. And you're going to talk about one of these 2 things.
Perfectly foreseeable,
Tonight
predictable.
We are obligated to seek answers directly from the man who set this all in motion.
Life, not death, for the Parkland school shooter.
That should be the fucking number 1
That's the
story.
recommendation from the jury.
His life meant more than the 17 that were murdered.
Friends and family react, as does Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis. What spared a confessed killer's life? A wild day on Wall Street. Soaring consumer prices put the markets in a tailspin, and then an enormous turnaround.
Trying to make money off
Andrew Ross Sorkin, live
Like
with
open bananas at
analysis
$8.
and the
I made $3,000
Police in
dollars
Georgia
off
name
of
a
that.
prime suspect in the death of a missing
Just
toddler.
fucking with us now.
A gunman shoots and kills cops in what police say was an ambush. And what Netflix with ads will cost. And when it
Do they have a
launches.
buffering?
Like, well, how old was that fucking video?
We can tell you that for Envy, it will cost $39.95 or $99.
$39.99.
$9 for
and you
a
can scan
year,
your face
and
on
no
the Apple,
ads, and
and
no
just
ads,
kaboom.
and no ads when
No
we launch our
ads,
app.
no ads.
So you know,
we may launch some stuff for free with some product placement ads where we actually work with a sponsor, and then we can launch the film for free for you guys to be able to watch.
Can we get
it.
sponsored by Triscuits?
But, maybe we can. Maybe we can get this podcast sponsored by Triscuits.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to worry.
We have an actress that can do a really good Nancy Pelosi impression, and she does it in our movie, Zombies in the Antique Shop.
Yeah, coming
You'll
out
see it.
this
It's
Halloween
very good.
weekend.
Very, very good.
All right, so this guy just said January 6th, and when he says those words, that means it's time to move on. At this point, and
But it's Tucker Carlson. Let's see what
Tucker
he's gonna talk
Carlson.
about.
We're creeping up on it though, and we got like we gotta give it a little bit of time. Right?
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson's Happy Thursday. Like all sorority girl narcissists, there is nothing the Congresswoman from New York's 14th Congressional
AOC.
This was amazing.
than giving herself new nicknames. In high school in leafy
got
Westchester
heckled.
County, she was known as Sandy Cortez. We still call her that because of all her various pseudonyms. That one fits the best.
How?
And then, when she became a member of Congress, she adopted the august and faintly exotic title Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which sounds like the name of one of Che's girlfriends in revolutionary
people that
Bolivia.
change their
Just picture
name all
her
the time
in the
are
back of the
fucking
motorcycle
insane.
in a
I'm sorry.
beret.
Because they don't have good names.
And then, when she ascended still
They don't have
higher
a
and
good
became a
life.
Kardashian,
Hold on.
this very same person began going by simply AOC, Queen of TikTok. But along the way, and
Queen
most
of
people do not know this, she had still another name. During the 2018 Democratic
Oh?
primary, in which she beat
What was her
party
name?
stalwart Joe Crowley by
Say
attacking
my
him for being
name.
white, Sandy Cortez went by the name Alex. Just Alex, your friendly neighborhood gender nonspecific bartender. Alex. On Alex's campaign website at the time, there was a section explaining what Alex believed. One of Alex's views read this way, quote, Alex believes that we must end the forever war by bringing our troops home and ending the airstrikes and bombings that perpetuate the cycle of terrorism and occupation throughout the world, end quote. Now, few people notice this
Come on,
because for a
guys.
self-described progressive, that didn't seem like a very surprising position. And on the
Somebody
day
else
that
made it
Sandy
'cause of
Cortez,
manager.
Alex, beat Joe Crowley in the primary, that statement was still on her
Oh.
website. But then it disappeared. No one noticed except a journalist called Samira Khan. Hey, what happened to the anti-war part? Now, Alex, who by this point had morphed into Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, blamed the deletion of this position on her supporters, who she claimed were running the website and had done it accidentally. Who knows what happened to it? But Samira Khan sensed there might be more to the story. How long, she asked at the time, will we be moaning on and on about single payer while there's bipartisan support for nuclear Armageddon? Well, that turned out to be a pretty good question, Samira Khan. In fact, it's no longer a rhetorical question. There is indeed now bipartisan support for nuclear Armageddon. We're not making that up. Joe Biden said it out loud at a fundraiser the other day. Oh, by the way, nuclear Armageddon on the way. Okay. And then Republicans in Congress said nothing, which is to say they backed out.
Oh,
And Sandy Cortez,
snap.
she stayed totally silent. And that really is the point. Now, if you're watching this show, it's likely you don't really care what's going on in the so-called progressive movement. It's not one of your interests. And why would you care? They're mostly Trustafarian clowns. They're jokes. Kids with weird hair, pointless liberal arts degrees, stupid fantasy-based politics. That's who they are.
Kind of
but it's also true that over time, people like this can be useful. Sometimes you want principled people taking principled positions. It keeps the system in balance. You need that. Not everyone can be a mercenary. Otherwise, you wind up with what we have now, which is true insanity. An ironclad consensus in Washington that we somehow have a moral obligation to destroy ourselves and our children's future in an utterly pointless war against Russia. What?
Yeah. Nobody wants
Everyone
this.
seems to think that.
They'll sell you the propaganda however they want to.
But
we
everyone
never
was
wanted it to
fine
begin with.
Everyone was fine with supporting Ukraine when this whole thing happened.
Oh yeah, that's what was annoying, is that these motherfuckers were all saying it. I was saying the opposite from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the thing. How do you not see it from the beginning? And instead,
how do you not see it that far? That's what you're supposed to do. You're leaders. You're supposed to look at the big picture and see what happens.
You tell other people.
You can't just be like, we're going to give billions of dollars to
We're all going to give it to this fucking pizza farmer over here in fucking Ukraine. And we're going to just give him a bunch of money and he can just keep fighting Vladimir Putin. And
wait, hold on a sec. How do you farm pizzas?
I don't know. Sounds like somebody's going to be mad. It's probably a derogatory term.
How do you farm pizzas? Because I would love to own that farm.
Farm the pizzas?
You just plant something and then it pops and turns into a pizza.
You got to ask Zelensky. He's the one of the pizza farms. Got the fucking Triscuit pizza farmers and shit. Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
We're getting close to
Good
this
evening.
shit,
I want to start
and
tonight by taking a moment to share with you
It's
a
January
picture
6th.
of Emily Parker. She was 6 years old when a gunman murdered her and 25 other children and staffers at Sandy Hook Elementary School nearly 10 years ago. Conspiracy peddler and profiteer Alex Jones slandered this little girl's memory.
Oh, okay.
So
that was yesterday.
So he didn't go
Oh,
out.
we doing Cuomo.
Cuomo, here we go.
No, because I think they were covering the January 6th. Whoa, that suit. What's his breaking news on his watch?
Well, I mean, J6 hearings just started over on MSNBC.
Oh, yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
So let me guess. Let me get what his breaking news is.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Chris Cuomo. Thank you once again for joining us. And we do once again have breaking news on our watch. We're watching a situation in Raleigh, North Carolina. Police are at the scene of an active shooting.
That's fucking real news, though, man.
Everything is very
Fuck that
uncertain.
stupid dumb shit with Trump. We're going to cover this
One police
first.
officer and possibly 4 or 5 others are already dead. That's coming from law enforcement sources. They believe that the shooter is a white teenage male with a long gun. The shooter is still at large. So police in the area, if you're watching in the Raleigh area, we have an affiliate there, WNCN. They are saying, stay indoors.
I don't know, maybe we should have ruled that the Parkland shooter guy get murdered.
Yeah.
Because now here we go.
Stay indoors. You may
But
see
don't
police
worry, we're going to
activity.
talk about J6
This
instead now.
is why. And again, because we're lucky enough to have an affiliate in
hopefully
Raleigh, WNCN, we are
love to
in
respect Cuomo
connection
here.
with them. When they get in contact with us with any new information, I'll bring it to you. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, here's what we have for you in the meantime tonight.
Woo! Tulsi Gabbard! Right at the top.
Left the
Fuck
Democratic Party in spectacular fashion. What is her plan? And we're going to talk about her
He ain't
strong
even
words
fucking-
to Democrats.
he's
after
not
commanding
even
former
fucking
President Trump to testify before the January 6th
he
committee.
said it.
Now, did you know
But he's just like, whatever.
that an American was captured by Russians in Ukraine and tortured for over 100 days? It happened. He just got out, and he's here to tell the story.
Shit, he was doing all the
And
stuff with
you want
Afghanistan back on
about
CNN.
climate change?
Yeah.
How about those sky-high fuel prices? I've got a guy who's got no political stake in the game, but he does have some
got a guy.
very interesting
I got a guy.
answers.
You got a guy.
I got a guy.
I know tonight's show is going to get to you, and you're going to want to have your say. You see the number
We
on the
can
screen?
call him.
Call him!
And get yourself some Cuomo. Okay.
Get yourself
Can we
some
call him?
Cuomo.
Can we call him?
It's like a telethon. What the
Both are
fuck?
major
This is
legal
amazing.
decisions.
Can we call
Both
him?
raise the question of what is
I don't have my phone.
I don't have
justice.
my phone.
One is easy to explain.
What was the number? I
One is
missed
hard.
it.
Let's start with the easy one.
Next week.
The January 6th decision.
Next week,
A
when we
unanimous
call
vote
Chris
to have
Cuomo.
former
Next week
President
we
Trump
call
testify.
Cuomo.
See, I don't know what to say. I have to think about it.
Aw, what a dupe though. Then he went right into J6. He was like, all these things.
That's what he did last time. That's what he did last time. He was like, all this stuff, but then Trump.
Every time he's like, I'm not going to talk about him.
That's what we're going to call him about next time. We're going to be like, dude, can you not talk about Trump? Because like more people will watch you if you don't talk about Trump.
Just stop talking about
Stop it.
Just stop talking
stop
about
it.
Period.
We say stop it.
After more than a year investigating, 1,000 witnesses, 9 televised blockbuster hearings, the January
3rd event
sums up its case.
By the way,
with one last
and finishes with one last surprise. We got the trailer here at the beginning. It's season 1, episode 20 of January 6th, literally written on MSNBC.
Historic decision.
And we're supposed to think that this is real.
I don't want people to know
this isn't set up at all.
Figure it out. We need to figure it out.
The TV show you won't be ready for.
New information about the advanced planning for the
fucking
violence.
this is a goddamn reality show. This is not real.
Knew it.
The source went on to say their plan is to literally kill you. Please take this tip seriously.
And then they did.
And they did it.
And then they did
And
it.
they did it.
You know, kind of like how you keep comparing it to 9/11 where people actually died.
As congressional
Triscuits back in the fucking news. She had 2. She had 2 Triscuits.
Oh, now she cares about the person that was shot, and then she learns, oh wait, no, that was actually a Trump supporter. Fuck her.
Fuck her. Yeah. At first she was like, oh wait, somebody got murdered here.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. They're sitting down there just fucking tweeting away, trying to figure out how they can fuck with them. And it's like, you just released the footage of you guys doing that, and then you're like, look, it's us in danger. No, it's not you in danger, it's you gossiping.
Investigation, Congressman Jamie
in a fucking basement.
Plus, Nicole Wallace, Joy Reid, Lawrence O'Donnell, Alex Wagner, Ari Melber,
What?
Stephanie
Whoa.
Rowe,
What? They had like 7 people. They trying to up the 5. They're like, we got 7. We got more.
Good evening from MSNBC.
Oh no, they got 5.
They put 5 down.
They got 5. By some of my beloved colleagues, Ari Melber, Joy Reid, Nicole Wallace, Lawrence O'Donnell. We're gonna have more of our
Rachel Maddow's like, move over.
But who's the Greg Gutfeld of the
hearing
group?
from the January 6th investigation? This, of course, has been a historic series of hearings. There was a ton of public interest in what the investigators are turning up
crack a joke.
the
There is no jokes on the show.
last year.
Yeah, they don't find anything funny. Their souls are dried up.
He lost re-election. But despite the intense public interest in what the investigators have to say, we know a 1 p.m. hearing isn't for everyone. Things like work and
so they're just replaying it? That's all this is?
all sorts of other daytime responsibilities.
Wow, they just condescended to the American people, and they're like, we know that you didn't have time to watch this because like you have childcare and work. But we don't have that, so like we watched it and we're gonna tell you all about it.
The night following each of these daytime hearings, the broadcast networks did this in 1973 during the Watergate hearings,
that's where they're
which
getting it from.
Also were held
They're trying to do the same thing.
Oh no, they're just saying
they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to do the same thing as Watergate.
Of what had
they're trying to treat it like Watergate.
So
they're like, we all are going to cover it. We all have to cover it, and we all are going to cover it for them.
We here at MSNBC are
Why do
following
they
that
just
precedent
defend
of our TV news foreforefathers by not
Why
just
do-
bringing you
Why do
reaction
they defend that they're covering
commentary.
it? Who's saying like except
No,
us?
it was good. I want to know why they're. I want to know why they're
trying to
covering
bring
it.
you with these primetime recaps.
So they talk
is
to
in
you
fact
personally.
A
They're like,
summary, a definitive recap of what happened. We want you to have not missed it.
I wanted to, like, I was trying to figure out why they were. I've been saying that it's because
the biggest news made by
CIA
the committee
created
today
them all.
was the legitimately
And now
surprising
I just found out that it's all
decision
because they
to
want to
approve
make
a subpoena
Trump Nixon.
for the former
And I'm
president
like, oh, that's
himself.
cute.
A subpoena to former
whatever.
President Trump, potentially
So
a
this
subpoena to
programming
former Vice
fiasco
President Mike Pence.
is not some
Those are
big,
things
huge
the committee had
conspiracy
all
theory.
openly
It's literally
rolled
just
over
because
at earlier
these
stages of
yuppie
their
ass liberal
investigation.
fucking
I think just
news
about
organizations
every
are
observer,
following the
certainly
path of
every
Watergate
journalistic
because Trump is just like
prognostication
Nixon,
about the
and they're the
committee
same
right now
thing.
suggested
So Rachel
that a
Maddow
subpoena
just like
to Trump
blew
or a
your whole
subpoena to
conspiracy
Pence.
theory.
Yeah.
It was probably too late for that. That
She
was
debunked
probably
it
off the table.
and just
They've
told me
come
that she
too
was
close
stupid
to the end of
instead.
their work to still be seriously considering that dramatic a step. All those prognostications were wrong. Today, during the hearing, the
let us
committee
know what
voted
they
to
said?
subpoena documents and
Oh, you already
testimony
did.
under
Like
oath
8
from the
times
former
today.
president.
During this committee's first hearing in July of last year, our witnesses were 4 police officers who helped repel the riots of January 6th. We asked them what they hope to see the committee accomplish
like, I don't work
over the
here
course
anymore.
of our investigation. Officer Gunnell wanted to know why the rioters were made to believe that the election process was rigged. Officer Fallon asked us to look into the actions and activities that resulted in the day's events.
Because
Officer
he's actually a Trump
Hodges
supporter.
was concerned about whether anyone in power had a role. Officer Dunn put it simply, get to the bottom of what happened. We've worked for more than a year to get those answers. Thanks to the tireless work of our members and investigators, we have left no doubt.
We have left out. He was about to say we have left out. We have left.
Okay,
we have left
can you
no
pause
doubt.
this? Causes. Okay, so they were like, we're gonna start these proceedings. Donald Trump sucks. We know he was behind it. All these cops are like, can you just please like get behind the like what really happened? Like we just want to know like what really happened. Like are there bigger people that are at play here? And I'm like, all right, we're gonna figure it out. They come back. It was Donald Trump.
It was Donald Trump. Okay.
Like no, they're talking about is the FBI involved? Like was it like some deep-seated conspiracy?
I was a security guard that day. I was not able to do my job because a bunch of people flooded me. Why was that something that happened?
Yeah.
And they're like, we already know the answer to that question. It's because we were in the basement eating Triscuits instead of actually setting up for this actual thing.
No, it
they
was
had
Donald
40,000 people in
It
it.
was
Because
Donald
he
Trump's
was
fault.
supposed to do the permits, not us, because they were his people this time, not ours.
It's just-
and it was his permits and not our permits.
They already
and
came-
so it's his fault, not ours.
They already went into the whole thing blaming Trump, and then they did an entire committee, an entire investigation, and they just came up with the exact same conclusion that they went in there. That sounds like that was just confirmation bias.
Yep.
That literally they went in to prove their hypothesis that
Was
it was
correct.
as opposed to just figure out what happened. Because
Right.
we all know that Trump was there and he had supporters and they went. But like, why wasn't there enough security there? What like is like what?
I do look the last one that they broadcast on all of the networks. I think it really did do the job of painting him negatively really well. But again, like you can't tell me that it's not biased when it's called the Donald Trump hearings. Why is it Donald Trump? I thought this was about January 6th and what happened.
Yeah.
And isn't
were there
that
secret organizations?
No,
that were like, you know what I mean?
don't even. You don't even have to go conspiratorial at all. It's literally just.
I want conspiracies.
I know.
I want conspiracies.
But bring common sense to it because these people are going to flip out to begin with because they all believe conspiracies. Because to believe that Donald Trump made all these people go into the Capitol is a conspiracy. Okay?
Yeah,
it's also a conspiracy to say that like the FBI is involved in all these other things. But the simple fact is that there was a huge amount of neglect, no one claiming responsibility, and no one looking at who neglected to do whatever they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And instead, we're going, the Donald Trump hearings. So this is about whether Donald Trump was wrong or not. He's wrong, the end. Like, okay, great, but you called it the January 6th hearing. You said that this was about why these people were able to come in, why they felt the need to come in, why they were enticed to come in, why they did what they did, and setting up proof to be able to prosecute these people for the crimes that they apparently committed.
Yeah, but instead they're just like, it's Trump's fault. I'm sorry, that's a waste of time.
And so much money,
it's
too.
It's just a circus.
All right. Dan Abrams.
Coverage now.
I get the temptation. When you have the deniers, there is a temptation to overdo it, to balance out the ignorance of the denials. And sometimes you misrepresent data.
They're talking.
Then you have this bigger problem. You wind up being what you opposed in the first place.
But the beauty is being the nuanced one, being able to say, look, yes, it's true that when Tucker Carlson goes on the air and says there are fewer hurricanes, that's true. That doesn't mean there's not climate change.
Right.
I want to ask you, Tulsi Gabbard, very good interview. She made a point that I think is very significant but also debatable. She talks about the need to have both sides. I have long said that I think the left-leaning media spends way too much time on the January 6th Commission. Every subpoena, every breaking news, they're going to refer that. But I think that there's some very important aspects that came out of that.
Oh, I like this.
And for her to say,
instead of just doing chit chat, they're asking each other questions.
The other side, right? It sounded like she was saying witnesses from the other side, and you kind of gave her pushback on that. I don't understand what the other side is in that regard. Meaning, there's no other side with regard to witnesses, meaning Trump's inner circle was called, the people closest to him. The other side is other folks who could be on the commission who disagree with the conclusions.
Right.
But that's not witnesses.
Absolutely not. I mean, you couldn't ask for better than having your own people come in to say what happened. They just didn't say what Trump would have wanted them to say. But look, at the end of the day, Tulsi Gabbard doesn't have a party, but she's still a politician. And it sounds good to say it was one-sided. We needed the other side.
Why are they not
what does that
witnesses?
mean?
They
You're
were
going
in
to
the
have Republicans
basement.
come in and make conclusions that go against the former President Trump? That's not going to happen. My bigger concern is this, and not to badmouth Congress. I am a believer and an optimist. Political investigations are inherently compromised. And people are breaking them down along the lines, and that's why I'm so slow to want to see them.
Well, it wasn't a Trump investigation. That's the thing that everyone's missing.
Don't get it.
It was a January 6th investigation. It was not a Trump investigation. If this apparently is as bad as a 9/11 and it's about this breach of security and this overexposure and everything, then you need to figure that out. Like as a country, so that another country doesn't just decide to, text a bunch of teenagers and have them walk into the Capitol and actually lynch somebody this next time.
Yeah.
Like, you can have foreign assets that can literally overrun our government, apparently just by having picket signs that say, "I love Trump." So if that's fucking true, then maybe you should spend this billions of dollars you've spent over the last year televising all this fucking bullshit and everything, instead of doing a fucking investigation on Trump and whether it was or wasn't his fault because of his speech or his rhetoric as a politician. It should be about how you don't have fucking security and some fucking retard redneck just fucking threw something through a window and you couldn't arrest him. You physically couldn't get the job done.
Yeah. But
whoever's at fault, I don't care. Just fucking tell me why that person wasn't drug out immediately and put into a fucking Sprinter van and sent to a police station.
Yeah. Why wasn't
like every other protest in American history, why did this one that not happen?
And you can't only blame it on.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who you blame.
Blame it on Trump.
But you can't make the investigation all just about what his speech was and whether his rhetoric sent them angry. Great, prove it. You just proved that Trump made the rhetoric that sent the mob angrily towards the Capitol. Awesome. You're the United States government. How did they get in?
Yeah. How did they get in? We want to know. That's what it's for. And that's the other side.
That's the fucking point.
But you know what? Maybe it's because the other side is the FBI. I'm just saying.
I mean,
we don't know. We don't know because they don't investigate it. So then you allow people to have these crazy crockpot theories that it is the FBI or is Russia or it's whatever. Just figure it out. That's the job, so that you make it understand who did. Hello, we figured out who did 9/11. Why can't we figure this out? It's not Trump.
Well, did we figure out who did 9/11? Because there's documentaries and cited evidence all around the world that says that Saudi Arabia did 9/11. Yet in the 9/11 Commission, there's not the word Saudi Arabia ever written in there at all. So, you know what I mean? The government didn't figure out 9/11. The government spent a bunch of money on the 9/11 Commission, just like they did January 6th.
But at least they gave us a sellable story that we all kind of agree with.
They just gave us a book, which was so much better than this bullshit TV show.
Yeah, come on, give us a book.
Just give us another goddamn book and we can just not read it in the end. But they run out of books because they write a book about KFC and the way that Donald Trump likes his chicken. It's like every fucking goddamn week there's a new Trump book. So writing a book on January 6th would do nothing. So they got to do a whole TV show for a year about just whether or not the context of his speech incited violence. That's not what that should be about. It should be about the security and stability of the United States government.
And because that's pointing the finger on themselves, and they can't do that because they can't openly investigate themselves. That's so much better. I'm telling you, the American public would rather have the government be like, yo, we fucked up.
But I just wanted to kind of bounce back because you keep saying this FBI thing, and the thing is all night before this, because we kept seeing the same story all night, I kept saying, well, it's because they're all run by the CIA. And then finally, Rachel Maddow, who I will say, while I don't agree with her very often, and she goes on tons of rants and tangents, is a really profound journalist. And her little bit of insight there for a minute, even though you were like, why the fuck is this here? Gave me the insight to realize, oh wait, this isn't about the CIA or the FBI or the government telling us all the same story. This is just that liberals want to paint this the same as Nixon. So they're going to do the same thing they did in Watergate. And so that means that's how that happened. That's all anybody wants with January 6th. We just need the explanation that she just gave as to why they're covering January 6th.
Yeah.
We need that explanation as to why the event happened. We don't need a never-ending debate over whether words mean violence, because that's essentially what you want to do. You want to have an open kangaroo court based on political differences where we bitch about whether words mean violence. That's it. Not security, not stability, not inflation, not all the murder.
It's just how and
do
why.
Do words mean violence? Is the ultimate debate constant.
But we want to know how
and I don't care.
Why
the violence occurred first.
And yes, okay, if the answer is that Trump gave the order that they lessen the security, then tell us that. That is telling us that he actually caused the insurrection. Of Trump calling on the phone being like, yo guys, actually don't do the security because it's going to be fine. And then it's a whole thing because he planned it out. That makes more sense than saying, he gave a speech.
That's the argument people make, is that they're like, well, he was in charge of the SWAT teams and stuff, the National Guard.
Was he? Because,
he is.
Because Nancy Pelosi was calling up a governor to tell in that footage to say, can you send us your National Guard? So who's in charge of shit? If Nancy Pelosi is calling up a governor and saying, hey, can you send your National Guard? And I think they said, like, no. Then, like, who is in charge? They've already said that they don't. They've already said that they didn't.
Because they're asking for state governors so that they can have a political move to come and bring their people over to help for this thing. Okay? So the governor, I don't want to get into the fucking back and forth of whether I agree with this or not, because I don't know that everybody's going to say, yes, it was a terrorist attack now or something. They don't know yet, so they're like, I'm not going to do that. But the National Guard, the actual active National Guard, is Trump. And that was what that very last 2 hours was painting out his every move of that day. And essentially what they painted was that the guy went and did the speech, said that everybody should go over there and rally up and protest. They rallied up and protested. All of a sudden, shit hit with the fucking fan. He's watching it in a room by himself. His daughter, Ivanka, over and over again keeps going into the room and reiterating that he needs to make a public apology, that he needs to condemn the violence.
Yeah.
And he keeps just sitting in there. And then eventually he comes out and he does that video that was on Twitter, which they've all dismissed, even though it was an apology, even though it was saying exactly what needed to happen.
Yeah.
And then he goes back inside. And then they said that during that video he kept being told over and over again to say that the election wasn't rigged, and he didn't want to admit that. That's a political move. I don't know why that has anything to do with anything, whether you incite violence or not, to have an opinion on what the election was. That doesn't mean you're inciting violence, but they speculate that, and then they just go on and on and on.
So I guess what you could
and they're saying that like then he finally called the National Guard after that to allow the people to be out, but it's like.
So can I just interject here? So essentially what you're saying is Trump's responsibility for January 6th is comparable to Travis Scott's concert disaster. Because people came to see, listen to this, because Travis Scott did a concert, a bunch of people came, and then all of a sudden there's all these like people were dying or they're getting crushed, and they're saying stop this, and he just kept doing a show, and it wasn't like they were like, hey Travis Scott, tell people you suck, so go home. No, he just kept performing and didn't really notice it. So like it's kind of the same thing in a weird way.
Yeah, because he's in charge of the head of the security.
He's in the same charge.
And you could tell head of security, we need to help all these people out.
But also,
instead, head of security and him aren't telling them.
But also, here's the thing. With the Travis Scott concert, what really happened? Like, what did they end up doing? They said the security failed. The security was bad. They actually went to the security, and yes, Travis Scott got some blame, but like it was also like he's not being arrested. He's not whatever. But it's the security that ended up coming scrutiny.
If you're a Capitol Police officer, you're not a trained guard like you are in like a foreign military, like where we have the samurais or the Buckingham Palace people or any of that.
Why don't we have
You have the changing of the guard inside of the army and stuff, but if you're Capitol Police, these Capitol Police are essentially mall cops. They're museum police. They're museum police. And all of a sudden, one day, they're told that they need to pull all of their weapons out of their pocket and fight everybody off in this crowd. And then you wonder why they all end up going home, and then when people are choosing sides and choosing all this manipulation over what happened with some politician and why it occurred, when they physically felt that happening, asking people just as a museum cop, think about being in the Mona Lisa or a museum or something like the Met, and everybody just raids it because they're pissed off at the mayor, and they're going to burn the whole place down. And you're just the person, you're just like, yo guys, no, this is like art, just like, can we just not, like, calm down, just, please, guys, you got to just kind of go. That's all you can do. And they don't listen, and then all of a sudden you watch for weeks and weeks and weeks as people cover this and say that it was a terrorist attack by the people that came in when you were never in harm, they were never in harm, and they were just running all over the place and you were just not able to do your job because you didn't have any resources.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's all this speculation.
It's very fishy that some of them committed suicide. Like
all of them. That's all the deaths, and they keep saying there's all these officer deaths for the officers that died. What kind of Hunger Games ass shit is that? Every one of them are a fucking suicide, except for the very first one that was brain damage or a stroke or something 2 days after the attack. And they blame that on something that hit him in the head or something, but then they said that nothing did hit him in the head. The coroner actually said that nothing ever hit him in the head.
Yeah.
But that was sickening.
But
the rest of them died afterwards, weeks afterwards, and they keep reporting them, and they keep reporting all of these suicides and saying they're suicides, and then they turn around and then they use them as victims in a tally of what the toll was of the day.
Yeah.
This was a huge event, guys. 8 officers died. No, 8 officers killed themselves because you misrepresented their worst day at work. That's the only conclusion I can draw.
Wow, this is really bummer.
You know what I mean? That's sad, but it's true. If you don't believe that there's some Clinton person out there offing all these people, which, you know, that's the whole other angle, but if you don't believe in that, then you believe that these people are truly sad because they're probably Trump supporters or Biden supporters or whatever, but they're like, what kind of fucking America is this that when I just was a fucking museum cop and these people just walked in, roaming in, taking photos and everything, and were fighting each other and playing all these games and there was no security, nothing happening, that everyone else's eye is off the prize and it's all about Donald Trump instead of about giving me a gun and making sure I'm safe at work.
It's also about how divisive everyone was and how mean everyone was. Like, I mean,
had to be on a
if
side.
they had a Twitter, oh my God, I don't even want to look at that Twitter. If you were a security guard,
security guard.
I mean, gosh, I mean, Twitter is vicious. Could you imagine just being an average person? Like, I consider myself not exactly an average person that with social media because I understand it and I understand like the extreme bias and how awful of a weapon it can be and just how evil people can be, but you learn to brush it off. But you take an average a person that actually takes that in and actually is like, oh my God, all these people hate me. Like that, can we investigate that in January 6th? That's as valid as talking about Trump, because words are violence on Twitter too.
Yeah.
That's what.
All right. Now to Hannity.
Well,
these other
hopefully
virtual
this will be
healthcare
different
companies,
than.
they're drug dealers.
Whoa, that was the last little bite.
All right, and thank you as always, Tucker, and welcome to Hannity. And tonight, Joe Biden, your president, appears to be caught in a massive midterm election meddling scandal with foreign countries, as we now know, as confirmed by the Saudis and OPEC, which also includes Russia. They not only denied Biden's numerous requests to increase
He's just so
oil
excited
production,
about this
and
story.
that Biden also then begged, after he was denied for the whatever millionth time, he then begged the Saudis and OPEC to hold off on oil cuts until after the midterm election. So Our question tonight, start thinking about it. Did Joe Biden attempt to collude with the Saudis, OPEC, now including Russia, to act in a way that would impact the 2022 midterm elections? We have full coverage. We'll get analysis. Senator Marco Rubio, straight ahead.
He's not running. He can't. He's not running. He's not a politician running for office. You're like, did he do it to affect the midterms? So what if he did? He's not running.
That's true. That is true. And he will not be running again. He's not going to run in 2024
again.
And
he's running. That's it. All right.
All right.
Banfield.
Even gonna
Last
matter
one for
in
NewsNation on the night.
2024.
Here we go.
And if you think you've seen the horrors of January 6th from every possible angle, think again. Tonight's chilling new video of congressional leaders scrambling to do their constitutional duty and avoid being killed in the process.
Yeah. They're pulling in the National Guard from locally, and she's in charge of that.
Broke the internet when he stole the House Speaker's lectern. Does he think these hearings will change anything?
Oh, what?
Yeah, just those to
As
show.
the feel-good story. As the feel-good story. That was the feel-good.
It was your city on the worst inflation
on a
list.
tear, but it's not apparently hitting everyone the same.
Yeah, that's the last. That's the last word. But the feel-good story was the January 6th guy with the meme. Like, what the fuck? That's the feel-good.
The man who committed the Parkland massacre dodges the death penalty in Florida. And families want to know why.
In Florida.
He wants to die. He wants to die.
Affecting jury verdicts to take someone's life.
He wants
and later,
to die.
1 degree of separation, not nearly enough for Kevin Bacon and the late notorious swindler Bernie Madoff.
I thought you meant Bernie Sanders.
On a real-life drama that cleaned him out.
What?
Everything's
He got fucking cleaned out by Madoff?
To Halloween, but those
Bacon
aren't
got
jack-o'-lanterns at a border crossing in Texas, and it takes a lot more than just some pumpkins to trick those clever agents. It's all coming up on Banfield.
That didn't even look like a pumpkin.
Yeah, that was bad, guys.
Okay, that was like a gourd.
Gotta get a better pumpkin.
Hello and welcome to Banfield. Tonight, we are less than a month away from midterm elections where more than half of the Republican candidates for state and federal offices say the 2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump. But Donald Trump is apparently not one of them. You heard me. Tonight, for the very first time, there is on-the-record evidence that in his own mind, he is not an election denier, that he knows he did not win, and that he knows he was not robbed, and that he knows he had no legitimate claim to a second term as president.
Why are you doing this on NewsNation?
Not my
This
words,
is disgusting.
his. And there is evidence that he knew it
it's
long
her
before
words.
the evidence and the events
It's this dumb
of
bitch's
January
words.
6th. That's
That's
one
not
of several
fucking-
breathtaking headlines today from what's likely the final hearing of the
She's
January 6th
making this fucking
House
story
Committee.
up. She's so excited
The
about
panel
it.
played testimony from former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson, who recalled hearing Donald Trump
yes,
tell
Cassidy
his chief
Hutchinson
of staff
again, yeah.
words to the effect
she's
of,
the one that made
"I
this
don't
up," and
want
then you're like,
people
"Oh
to
my
know
God."
we lost. This is embarrassing. Figure it out. We need to figure it out. I don't want people
So he said
to
that.
know
He said that
we
because
lost.
we
Separately,
know
another
Cassidy
former aide
Hutchinson
named
is not
Alyssa
lying.
Farah described seeing Trump watching Joe Biden on television and saying, "Can you believe
Right.
I lost to this effing guy?"
Well, that doesn't necessarily
yeah.
mean anything. No. If you ask, can you believe I lost? No, you don't, right?
No,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
it's bullshit.
believe. Yeah, it's fucking
can you believe that
bullshit.
I lost to this effing guy?
Yeah, no one believes it because it's fucking bullshit.
It's bullshit. That's what that question was. Come on, context, tone, delivery. You can take words out of any context and you can make them be the thing, but you got to hear the tone and you have to hear the way they are delivered. There's a way that you can say things.
Exactly.
As an actor, you know that.
The last word with Lawrence O'Donnell.
I really wanted to get the meme guy. I want to know
what the meme was.
What's he doing now?
For being with us tonight for this special sorority edition.
Ew.
No.
Thanks, Joy. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks,
Oh.
We don't know.
And then
we're
there's
doing
two
this
wearing
again
the
because we do
red
not
and
know
two
whether
wearing black.
there will be another January 6th daytime hearing, but if there is one, we will all back. be summoned.
They're trying to be the
exact
View.
Location. Yeah. All right, now it's time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Good evening, Lawrence.
They're so excited, like it's like a slumber party.
Oh my
God!
We get to
to
all
the
talk about
committee's hearing today, news about the
here's their cup.
source the FBI has developed from inside Mar-a-Lago. There is now a name attached to it in the Washington Post. That's been breaking during your coverage tonight. And we will have much more. We have Professor Lawrence Tribe joining us.
Here's his name, bro.
The intern that moved the boxes.
An awful lot to get
They
through.
doxed them.
Get to it, Lawrence. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, we do
This
have,
is
as I
move
say,
the
a desk
boxes.
full of breaking news. The first thing I want to do for you is add to the Nancy Pelosi video that you have been
new
watching
video.
tonight.
They were like, the other one wasn't dramatic enough.
It was
They
taken
know.
inside the Capitol, then
Let's
it
see
was
how
taken
this one
inside,
goes.
captured inside Fort McNair, where Speaker Pelosi and all of the congressional leadership, bipartisan congressional leadership, were gathered a couple miles from the Capitol. That video was shot by Nancy Pelosi's daughter, Alexandra Pelosi, an accomplished documentarian, as Rachel mentioned earlier. Here is an element of that video that was not shown by the committee today.
Come on.
This is when Nancy Pelosi is getting the word that Donald Trump has said publicly at his speech that he is going to walk down to the Capitol, that he's going to come to the Capitol with the protesters. Here is that video.
Let's see what she said. This would be a
Secret Service said they have dissuaded him from coming to Capitol Hill. They told him they don't have the resources to protect him here. So at the moment he is not coming, but that could change.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my mom.
I would pay the fee.
For this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait! Did you just, wait!
In fact, let's roll that video again, because you are going to see the Speaker of the House of Representatives saying that
incite violence.
Punch the President of the United States.
Incite violence.
Carries through on his threat to march up to the
incite fucking violence.
They told him they don't have the
How
resources
dumb.
to protect him here. So at the moment he is not coming, but that could change.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my mom.
I would pay the fee.
I've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds.
Violence, direct violence on January 6th by Nancy Pelosi. Direct violence. I don't want to hear anything about any January 6th hearing until we have a Nancy Pelosi hearing now, because we need another year to investigate why she said that she would punch him out and what she meant by punch him out. And what she was going to do when she meant that she was going to punch out the president if he came down there. What did she really mean? Did she really mean what she meant?
I'm sorry.
If she really meant what she meant, that's an incitement.
Alex,
no, you gotta fucking come on. This is MSNBC.
I know, but
and they're gonna play this shit.
Alex,
and they're gonna miss the point.
The point is
that she's inciting violence.
Can you just imagine Nancy Pelosi trying to punch Trump? Can you just?
Yeah. Well, punch him out. I can't believe that those words came out of her mouth after all the things that they've been saying over the last year. The first words out of her mouth during this entire fucking thing were, I want to punch him. When he said to go down to the Capitol, he meant to get all of us. He didn't say go down there and punch them. You did.
I just wish I
can't believe that MSNBC is going to play that as though it's some kind of funny joke. You're kind of making it a joke too. You're missing the fucking greater hypocritical point.
I get it,
which
Alex.
is the entire fucking investigation is all about whether this guy incited violence by saying, I'll go down there with you. Those are the words. Or no, fight like hell. Fight like hell are the words. Fight like hell. Does that incite violence? That's what's on the table. Do the words fight like hell by a person incite violence?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do the words I'm going to punch him out.
She didn't say that exactly. She didn't say I'm going to punch him out.
I'm going to punch him out. I've never heard anybody else ever say that. It sounds like the weirdest fucking
Alex,
alien.
because she didn't say those exact words. You just twisted them.
No, she did.
I'm going to punch him.
I'm going to punch him out.
Do we need to play this back
She said, I'm going to punch him out.
Can we play this back?
Because she's a rich bitch and she don't know what she's saying, bro.
No.
Watch
she
this.
did not say, I'm going to punch him out.
We're going to pull this back now. Here, watch.
Here we go.
She says, I'm going to punch him out.
Hold on. No, she's to punch him in the face.
But that could change. Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my mom.
I would pay to see
I've
that.
been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out, and I'm going to go to jail, and I'm going to be happy.
I'm going to punch him out, and I'm going to go to jail. So she even knows that she's inciting violence. She even knows that what she's saying is inciting violence. So does Lawrence O'Donnell, who's playing this on MSNBC right now, right after an investigation where we're trying to figure out if the words fight like hell incite violence. Do the words fight like hell incite violence? Also, right afterwards, we're going to show you a video of the Speaker of the House talking about how she's going to physically harm the President of the United States.
Hey, look, come on. Like, back in the day, like, these politicians used to actually duel with, like, guns and swords and shit like that. I mean, maybe we should just get back down to that and just have
they're
Nancy
acting
Pelosi
like this is against the rules to threaten
and Donald
each other
Trump
now.
just fight each other with swords. I mean,
I
swords.
say
It's gotta be swords.
No, fucking duel to the death, homie.
I'm saying...
No, gun duel. It's a gun duel. One of them has to propose it, but it's still legally on the books.
No.
Technically, they could in Virginia or in New Jersey.
No, they have a weapon of choice. Trump has a golf club, and then what would Nancy Pelosi have?
No, we're not making up new laws. I'm saying you have a Glock 9. You take 7 steps backwards. There's an officer on hand. Whoever gets shot first is the loser. If that person dies, you have successfully legally killed someone. As a standing politician, that's a law of the land. You can declare that. If Trump wants to do a duel, he could literally do that.
Okay, but I'm saying I think it would be more entertaining, and people can comment in the comments whether they would rather see a sword fight between Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump, because I think that would be pretty dope.
A sword fight?
A sword fight. Yeah. Can someone superimpose their faces over, the Princess Bride?
I want to roast.
The Princess Bride.
I want to roast Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump as the host.
All right, let's go on. This conversation just died.
Yeah, it did, because you missed the point and couldn't rail with me on the right side here. This is crazy. I can't believe how hypocritical that is. It's so insane.
It's very hypocritical.
The first fucking thing she says, I'm going to punch her in the face and then go to jail. So she even knows it's inciting violence to say it.
On the town hall.
Admits the guilt, too, along with it.
Let's just reveal it. This is ridiculous to hide the
Go
surprise.
ahead. And then where's Fox News on this? They're going to fucking talk about some OPEC dumb bullshit.
Well,
They're fucking missing the fucking point. Nancy Pelosi's over here releasing footage of herself saying she's going to punch Donald Trump.
Just that big Georgia peanut.
Wait, Laura Ingram's saying she's going to dress up like a peanut?
I'm popping out of it.
I guess.
Isn't that exciting?
She's going to pop out of a
For the big
peanut?
town hall? That's going to be a real
What is an Illuminati symbol on the chest?
Surprise that you
It's
obviously
called
don't know about.
It's called a
Exactly.
Alex.
Illuminati.
It's a cross. That's a cross.
Illuminati.
You're
That's
telling
a
me
cross.
on my own show. That's priceless.
Yeah, you build it up,
By the
and
way,
it's
we
just
would
like
love
me
to
coming
have
out of
you.
a peanut.
If you want to come, please come.
Okay. All right.
We'll do both shows back to back.
That
That'd
would
be
a
awesome.
blast. Okay, all right. Well, we'll take it under advisement.
That was exactly what she was saying.
Double trouble.
He's like actually trying to make friends. And she's like, no.
I am Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingram Angle from Washington tonight. And we begin with a midterm Hail Mary from the Democrats. We knew it was coming, right? And if there's anything we've learned, it's that Joe Biden loves telling tall tales. And over the past couple of months, his White House seems to have caught the same fever, at least when it comes to burnishing that reputation.
It will take more time and resolve to bring inflation down, which is why, again, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act.
But that's what they're using it with, too.
Not Republicans.
Okay, I got to pause it there. That's enough of that. But that's the other thing they're doing with that. That was a really smart move.
What?
So they did the Inflation Reduction Act, right? And everybody laughed at them because they're like, why would you call it that? It's not going to reduce the inflation, da-da-da. They'd call it that so that in 3, 5, 10, 20, whenever inflation goes down,
They can say it's their
they
thing.
can say the only people that voted for the Inflation Reduction Act were Democrats. Regardless of when it happens. Doesn't matter. 10 years from now.
No, but they were hoping that it
Turn
would
around.
happen before the midterms.
Right. Oh, absolutely. But it doesn't matter. They're just
not.
waiting on it.
Because it doesn't.
And then they get to turn around and say,
it doesn't-
we're the only ones that voted against inflation.
Because you can call it Inflation Reduction Act, but it doesn't reduce inflation.
But are there enough stupid people that are like, they're the only ones that voted against inflation? I don't like inflation.
There's Republicans
are pro-inflation.
There are a lot of people that go into the grocery store and being like, this is costing a lot more.
Yeah. Okay. So now we got the 11th hour.
The 11th hour.
The 11th hour there with Stephanie something.
Why are we watching her? We've never watched her before. You're adding people. I think it's time to move to our like late night shit.
I know, but we got this last one.
I'm Stephanie Rule. The January 6th Select Committee closed out its
like,
final
I gotta
public
go to bed
hearing before the midterm elections with a big surprise. The vote to subpoena Donald J.
She was on the other show with Rachel Maddow.
This is a question about accountability to the American people.
Why are you going to this? It's the exact same thing.
He must be accountable.
The committee direct the chairman to issue.
Can we just, please, let's move on.
Wait, oh yeah, it's the same thing, right?
Yes.
All right, Gutfeld.
Gutfeld.
Time for the comedy. I mean, guys, he's gonna be the only one that's funny tonight. The rest of them are gonna do KFC jokes.
I don't know. Greg feels like half funny.
I know. He's never is.
You're like, when you laugh, you're surprised.
Glorious crowd. What a week for crooks, schemers, and liars, otherwise known as Democrats. Oh. That was cheap, and I apologize. Not really. But it's part of a new segment I like to call.
What?
These are terrible people.
Okay.
Who suck.
I thought that was going to be better.
Thank you. That was created by my nephew, Alan, for his art class. They like to keep the inmates busy.
Good recovery.
He'll be out in 3 years.
No, you should have just ended
So first, during questioning by special counsel John Durham on Tuesday, an FBI analyst claims the FBI offered ex-British agent Christopher Steele $1 million if he could corroborate the allegations against candidate Trump that were made in the dossier back in 2016. Now, talk about creating an incentive to lie, offering 7 figures for a P tape. Hell, I could have made one for him for $500 in the Fox News men's room. Or best offer. Neil Cavuto owes me a favor. Plus, he looks good in a wig and could do a Russian accent. But why so much money? Could it be that Steele would need part of that money to pay the corroborators? He gets paid perhaps to pay off witnesses. It's entirely possible. At any rate, the whole thing is seedier than a pumpkin carving contest. Perhaps if the Republicans had done this, the media might care. Meanwhile, President Biden said Tuesday there will be consequences for the Saudis not delaying the cut in oil production until days before the midterms in order to help the Dems. And they said Trump was damaging relationships with our allies. Remember when he told Germany to get off Russian energy? Now he looks like a psychic, while Biden looks like Milton Berle's corpse. But as you know, the Saudis told Joe to stuff it. And now Dems are introducing legislation that would pause all arms sales to the Saudis for a year.
What?
Meanwhile, I'd like to introduce my foot to all the Dems' asses. Yeah. So the Biden White House is punishing an ally because they didn't help him politically. Isn't this what they impeached Trump for with that perfect phone call?
Him for that with the Ukraine thing.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to get
There's
dirt
that.
on Hunter Biden, which he
I'll
got.
take it. There's that golden rule again. Whatever the Dems accuse you of, you can bet they're already doing it. It also shows that Biden really didn't care about Americans paying more for gas. To him, it's about politics. Because at this rate, his party's going to lose more seats than a patio furniture store during a Category 5.
Oh.
But if the Republicans had done this, perhaps the media might care. Then there's that chrome-domed gremlin.
He's got
DHS
fucking, what's his name?
Alejandro Mayorkas. He opposes using the term alien because he looks like one. True. Are we sure he's not from outer space? I bet his wife's name is Mindy. Thank you. Yeah. That's right in our audience's wheelhouse. Sitcoms from the 70s. In a bombshell revelation, Mayorkas' own staff told him that reports of border agents whipping migrants were false before he went to the White House. And yet he went ahead anyway and publicly smeared his own agents as racists.
What?
Just hours after being told the officers were innocent, he said this.
Our entire nation saw horrifying images that do not reflect who we are. We know that those images painfully conjured up the worst elements of our nation's ongoing battle against systemic racism.
He's just like,
hey, asswipe.
Nope.
They call him asswipe.
We know who we are. It's not who you are. A lying, backstabbing, power-hungry, finger-pointing dirtbag who would sell out his own mom at the drop of a hat. He's a scumbag.
That's not a...
I know, that could be defamation.
It's not a joke.
I got applause for
That's what he doesn't get. He's just mad today.
I probably shouldn't say that because I don't want scumbags to sue me.
Scumbag! Okay.
But he let his agents twist in the wind for some political advantage, perhaps to shift the media spotlight away from his disastrous leadership to the agents' fabricated racist behavior. And the media bought it, even though it's pretty hard to use a whip while you're on a fast-moving horse. You'd end up whipping yourself, like when Hemmer and I role play. Sorry. And even after it was obvious they were wrongly accused, he promised there would be an investigation. And there was. It took a year. And though it cleared the agents, they still face punishment for other so-called violations. And what would those be? Doing their job amid the border chaos caused by this White House? Failing to wash the mud off their uniforms after a hard day's work? Using the wrong pronoun when addressing the horse? I think it's nay. I don't know. The worst part, Mayorkas was clearly unfair on purpose. And as you know, that's the media's job. So what does all this corruption have in common? Well, it's Democrats doing the dirty deeds, and they're doing it all in plain sight. And you can only do that if you have help, a protective big brother, or a big sister, or a big brother who was once your big sister. Have I covered all the new categories?
Ooh.
And that's the media, who turn off their cameras and close their notebooks whenever Democrats scheme. You could argue they're the real scum, because without them, the political scum wouldn't have cover. But in a just world, the people who pushed the Steele dossier would be occupying the very cells that a lot of the January 6th protesters are occupying right now. Biden would be impeached for trying to get the Saudis to help the Democrats. Or the 25th Amendment would put him in a nursing home. Hopefully, one not being run by Andrew Cuomo.
Oh! Cuomo jokes. Cuomo jokes. Bring back Cuomo.
And finally, Mayorkas would be tarred and feathered, which isn't too bad for him since he can still get work as an ostrich. Let's.
Okay.
That was weird. He really ran that Mayorkas guy.
Yeah.
All right, so Trevor Noah's last show has he announced it's going to be December 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that's the problem. Like, according to the network, The Office reruns preclude the Daily Show. So you're watching The Office and then you watch the Daily Show.
Yeah.
So that's why
you're like, no, I'll just turn on The Office on Netflix.
I'll just watch more. Yeah.
It's just this weird woke internet thing now. It's just so programmed, dude. Here's my fucking masked audience. Look at them all. Every one of them with a mask on. Because they're good boys and girls.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Show.
They obey me.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming out in person. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. He told them to put a sock on it, whatever time.
Not one person took it off.
We've got a great show for you tonight.
Inflation is still
inflating. We have some never-before-seen footage of the work being done by Trump's special master, and Alex Jones needs to borrow a few bucks.
Yeah,
so let's do this, people. Let's jump straight into today's headlines.
You're a comedian. You don't want them to be relaxed.
He's gonna come down to Orlando and do a show soon. And no one's gonna be wearing masks.
The news that happened today, I just don't think we have enough space in today's show. Yeah, I know. I tried
I don't know
everything
why
to
he
fit
keeps
it in.
doing
I
this
even
bit
tried
every
to
Thursday.
unscrew the legs and then take off the cushions.
But
and
it is
turn
true.
the news
Maybe
sideways so
don't
it
cover
fit, but
January
it just-
6th
it
the whole
didn't
day.
work.
Let's see if he still
And there's
covers
not
January
enough
6th all day, even though he does this bit.
Luckily,
says there's so much news.
not enough time.
He's
It's
going
just
to
enough
talk
time
only
for a
about
segment
January
we call
6th.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
He said something that.
No, he's doing the thing. Ain't got nobody got time for that.
All right, let's kick things off with some news about the U.S. economy. Remember how the Fed raised interest rates 1,000 times in the last week to try and stop inflation? Well, it turns out it didn't work.
Breaking news on the economy. Inflation shows no signs of slowing down. The last inflation report before the midterm elections, take a look at some of these numbers, shows that prices rose 8.2% between September 2021 and September 2022.
Gasoline prices up more than 18% from last year. Food prices still up 11%.
Turkey up 20% from this time last
Candy
year.
corn,
Eggs
34?
up 27%. Butter 25%. And then look at the little candy corn graphic. Halloween candy up
Source
a
PayPal.
whopping 30.
All the other ones are like legit, and then it's like PayPal.
Halloween candy. 34%. I love how they say it like it's necessary to live. What are we going to do without it? Once again, inflation numbers are out and prices are still going up, affecting everything from gas to Halloween candy. And not only that, razor blades are up 52%. Now what am I supposed to put in the candy? Oh, how do I live? I will say a 34% increase in candy, that is a lot. It's so expensive, parents are going to start encouraging their kids to get into strange vans. You know? Just like, look, Timmy, the stranger says he's got free candy, and in this economy, we got to take a shot, buddy. We got to do it. I'll find you.
Well, what is that? That's establishment, at least.
Inflation is just not sustainable.
Because
right?
it's ridiculous.
Because here's the thing. Inflation is a lot like masturbation. Right? Yeah, a little bit is completely natural. But once you start noticing it in restaurants and car dealerships, things have gotten out of control. And look, if we had more time, we could talk about the Federal Reserve. And it looks like how they're going to keep raising interest rates to try and curb this rampant inflation, because that's basically the only tool that they have. The problem is raising interest rates takes so long to filter through the economy that this could be too much raising interest rates, and we just don't know it yet. In some ways, raising interest rates is a lot like taking mushrooms.
Kind of baller that he's
You
going
take
with
some,
this.
nothing happens. So you take some more, nothing happens. Man, you finish the whole box. And because this stuff clearly doesn't work,
That's the fucking joke of the fucking.
That's great.
That's the best joke
Solid.
we've seen.
Good job, Trevor.
Fucking
Noah.
damn.
What?
That is killer. And to talk about the fucking inflation on J6 night.
Wait.
We don't have time for this.
Did he say
Because all
something about
everyone's
Donald
bills are
Trump?
going up.
He
One
said
of the
something
worst
about Donald
people
Trump.
of all time just got the biggest bill of all time.
Tonight, the stunning verdict. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones ordered to pay nearly $1 billion for spreading falsehoods about the Sandy Hook shooting.
Jones was not in the courtroom for the verdict, but immediately reacted on his online show, calling the attorneys for the victims' families ambulance chasers and mocking the verdict.
$120 million. Yeah. By a jury.
57 million, 20 million, 50 million, 80 million, 100 million, blah, blah. You get $1 million.
God, this is being such an asshole. I'm sorry. That's an asshole thing to do.
He's such
Come
a
on.
dick. He's such a dick. What a dick. Yeah. All right.
Like, come on. Like, I think we can all agree that Alex Jones.
They were like fucking children.
Come on.
Come on.
Cross the line. Just.
You use children for your advantage with the Epstein stuff and stuff all the time. So like, don't do it the other way. You don't fucking tell people they fake in their children's deaths.
What if, like, though, like 30 years from now, we realize that he was right?
Yeah, like,
and then we're like, what the fuck, man?
Holy fuck! They were all robots, and there's robots in all of Massachusetts.
It was Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Whatever, same difference.
No, it was not. Connecticut is very different girl.
Jimmy Fallon, make me laugh. Because the other two are trying to ban the show.
Make us laugh. Make us laugh. Make us laugh. Trevor Noah's on the show?
Trevor Noah is on the Tonight Show. That's where he announced that he's leaving his show.
Lil Baby?
So he announced he was leaving his show on the Tonight Show. Is he gonna take over the Tonight Show?
He announced he was leaving his show on his show.
No, he probably announced it on the show.
Trevor Noah?
Yeah.
He announced it on his show. We watched that.
No, announcing the date that he was leaving because you said you knew. Because it was probably released in PR this morning, and now he's going to do an interview with Jimmy Fallon. And what? Say I'm leaving on December 6th or whatever.
December 8th.
December 8th.
No, but that story broke so much earlier.
Yeah, because they released the press release. Doesn't mean he's not going to do an interview tonight because of that.
Man, I have to pee. I hope this gets over with. But I like that green tie, though.
Welcome to the Tonight Show, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching.
The beard's getting a little thick.
Guys, it seems like there's so much going on right now. The Major League Baseball playoffs are underway. Tomorrow, the movie Halloween Ends comes out. Yeah. This week, former President Trump made fraudulent claims that other ex-presidents stole documents as well.
Yeah.
And Burger King just debuted a Ghost Pepper Whopper with an orange bun. I mean, there's a lot to go over. So let's jump in and cover it all at once. It's time for a news smash.
He's acting like all those weird things are just as justifiable as January 6th. He's like, all these weird things.
First up, former President Trump, he's spreading made-up stories that Obama, Clinton, and the Bushes all stole classified documents. Man, this guy just will not go away. Trump's basically the real-life version of Michael Myers. Halloween Ends.
Oh yeah, this is funny.
It's the 13th movie in the franchise. If you watch them all in a row, it takes over 20 hours, which is basically the length of a baseball game. The playoffs are here, but the Mets already got knocked out. Their fans are sick about it. And you know what else will make you sick? Burger King's Ghost Pepper Whopper orange bun. That thing ain't natural. I mean, seriously, why would you want a bun that's freakishly orange?
So good. Fucking good, man.
See, that's how you smash up the
God
news.
damn.
He's gotten himself into trouble, and rather than tell the truth, he just keeps telling Whoppers. It's got ghost peppers in the cheese. This thing is so spicy, it's guaranteed to give you the runs. They are what you need in the playoffs. Without them, you'll lose games and get eliminated. Michael Myers is a symbol of Halloween, and nothing says Halloween more than a pumpkin. At this point, Trump can't even find a good lawyer. Everyone that he texts just ghosts. Those peppers will mess you up. If your family eats those, you'll all be feeling it in your ends. So in conclusion, crack of the bat, don't eat that. Look who's back. Dude is whack. This has been a news.
You just have to be like, I'm against Trump.
As I mentioned,
he watched our clip
Halloween
and he was
Ends,
like,
which
I'm
is
going
the
on
13th
hard.
and final movie in the Halloween franchise, hits theaters. You could tell Michael Myers is getting old because in this final film, he runs for president. You could tell Michael Myers is getting old because he needs someone to cut his people for him. That's right, Halloween Ends is about to hit theaters. That's a slow one, but you get it. Even though it's the end of Michael Myers, they're already considering some spin-offs that sound just as terrifying. For example, there's Halloween, your parents just joined TikTok. Then there's Halloween, the Domino's tracker says your pizza arrived, but it hasn't! Next, there's Halloween, accidentally clicking a link on a spam email. Like, it's all right. Next, there's Halloween, text from Bay that says, can we talk? You know? Next, there's Halloween, using a porta potty at an outdoor concert.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Next, there's Halloween, cutting your bangs too short. Oh, no! And finally, there's Halloween, the news.
Halloween, the news. That's the worst one of them all.
That's the best.
All right.
Oh, you just like cut off his monologue.
No, I mean we went pretty long on it. It is a good monologue. Do you want me to go back? You want me to go back?
Like, why'd you go? Why'd you just cut it off? Like, dude, he's actually
back
letting
and
us play his stuff, and then you're like, let's go watch Colbert now, and then he's gonna like sue us.
Yeah, be a douchebag.
Let's watch all of Jimmy Fallon, because he
Jimmy
at
Fallon
least like lets us watch
good
the whole
comedian
thing
too
on the show. So
yeah.
If you ate $28 worth of Taco Bell, you wouldn't be on TV, you'd be on a stretcher. You know what I'm saying? Hey guys, I read that Subway said that they've now experiencing record-setting sales. Yep.
Wow.
Subway is doing great. The CEO was like, take that, real tuna.
I actually had a Subway sandwich the other day.
Well, guys, everyone loves TikTok, but sometimes you don't have time to watch the whole video, that you just want to skip right to the good part. Well, it turns out you can. For instance, if you're watching a video, you can skip this part and go right to this.
Pickleboard.
Let me give you another example. You can skip this part.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh,
Stop it.
And go right to this.
Oh my God. That's not funny. That lady almost died.
That person's face was like
you can
death.
skip this part. This is how we do it.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
No, dude, get ready. And go right to this part.
That's impressive though. He held on for like a while.
He did.
Want to see it again?
Damn, bro.
No joke. I think I've skated like that too.
Almost pulled it off.
When you're like, oh,
according to a new poll, Prince William has been decrowned as the world's sexiest bald man by Vin Diesel. And Vin Diesel actually commented on it. Listen to this.
Yeah, it's Vin. It's an honor to be the world's baldest sexy man. And much respect to Prince William from Lord of the Rings. It's gonna be okay, Prince William, because you still have the royal family. And there's nothing more important than family. The royal family is just like our family. The king is the dad. The princess is the daughter. The duke is like Ludacris. The big fluffy hats are like their aunts. And the horse in the carriage is their car.
That means Ludacris is on
Cars
Epstein's Island?
go fast. Fast and Furious, horse and buggy drift. In theaters tomorrow.
how is Prince William the sexiest bald man? Yeah. Like that was a rigged competition.
A French automaker just unveiled a new one-passenger electric vehicle that rides on 3 wheels and can be driven without a license. Here it is. Look at this.
Oh, I want that.
Yeah, it's called Le Death Trap. We have a great show. Trevor Noah is here tonight.
See, thanks.
All right.
Oh, dude, hello. What, Alex? Though, I don't know. We have to. It's Trevor Noah on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, so do you need
we have to cover
Trevor
this.
Noah on
but
Jimmy
I have
Fallon.
to pee. All right, so
The
this
Turning
is
Point.
you're
It
back,
premieres October
and this
23rd
is
at 10
Trevor
p.m. on
Noah
MSNBC.
on
Everyone, please welcome
Jimmy
Trevor
Fallon.
Noah.
What? Tripping now. Got 2 shows in one, and neither one of them are pulling
They're trying to
a
combine
copyright claim like Stephen Colbert shouldn't own this TV show.
All right.
Did you notice how Jimmy Fallon though did
Jimmy Fallon's crowd gave Trevor Noah a standing ovation.
Buddy, it's always good to
this
see
is the
you.
war we've created.
We have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about.
We really
First
do.
of all, the beard. You're looking handsome. Can I just say it?
No,
No, I mean it. It's nice. It's like I can't grow a beard. So whenever I see somebody do it, I like cheer from the rafters. You go,
Isn't it funny though that
it took me 6 months to do it.
I can't even do it.
Oh, come on, you're a
How have you been?
stud.
I haven't seen you in a while, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm happy you're here.
Yes.
Thanks for being here. You kind of shocked the world. You shocked me, at least, a couple weeks ago. You announced that you're leaving The Daily Show.
Right, yes.
And that your last show is December 8th.
That is indeed correct.
Because you were masks, bro.
Why not? You know what I think this. It's funny how people ask you this question as if you're telling them bad news.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, but I think everybody has gone through a period of looking at their lives. Every single person. We were in our apartments for 2 years. The world changed. We experienced collective grief. I think if you don't look at your life and think about what you'd like to do differently, then you haven't experienced what we've all experienced, And so I think of this as a joyous thing. I lived through a crazy time. I shared it with people who were kind enough to share it with me. We went through something, and what's on the other side? I don't take anything for granted anymore. I don't believe that life is a given. I don't assume that things will come to me, and so I just go like, this is it. This is time, and leave when people say, why are you leaving? Because imagine if it was the other way around. I go like, I'm leaving, and then people are like, yeah.
It's about time.
I think, leave when
people go, why?
It's still good. Leave when you still love it. Leave when you still have the energy to enjoy it. I still have 3 months to have a ton of fun with everybody at the show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that.
Do you have plans on what you're going to do next? Or
everything.
Everything.
I'm going to get drumming lessons from Quest.
Yeah,
you know this. We're getting
Hey,
our drumming lessons going.
you
know what? I'm so excited to do everything. I didn't get to travel as much doing stand-up around the world. I'm excited to. I used to go to a country and I would be there for weeks on end. I would learn like parts of the language. I would learn about the culture. I'd do a show based around it. I'm going to get back to doing that. Producing, you know, like just working behind the camera, working on different ideas, you know. Going back home, spending more time with family in South Africa.
He made enough money and he's like, I don't really want to do this. Never really wanted to do this.
Stand-up is...
The show is hard, Jimmy. We're here every day, Jimmy. Do I need to tell you this, Jimmy?
No, you have to tell me.
Why are you leaving, Jimmy?
Jimmy's a fucking champ.
I have an announcement tonight.
No, don't do it.
No,
they'll blame me. Don't you stop playing those shows.
You know, the Black Panther sequel is coming out soon, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you were in the original Black Panther.
I don't know if I believe this.
Yes,
These are rumors that I've been told.
No, this is a real thing.
I don't know. I think people just assume because it's like Wakanda, it's from Africa, I'm from Africa.
I know.
And people are just like, you were there. I'm like, no, I was in Africa. It's similar, but it's not the same.
It's not Wakanda, yeah. But you are the voice of the AI.
I'm the voice of Griot, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm basically, it's like African Siri. That's what I am. That's essentially what I'm doing.
You made it. Did you just tell every single human that you knew on this planet that you're in Black Panther? And you're like, dude, I'm in the biggest movie ever.
No, you know why? Because I hate spoilers.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't spoil it even for my friends to let them know that I'm doing a I don't watch trailers, for instance.
You don't?
No, I hate trailers.
Because you don't want to know?
No, because then I like getting into the movie and not knowing what's coming, what's going to happen, not anticipating a scene, not thinking about. Sometimes they'll put a thing. Have you noticed they'll put a thing in the trailer that's not in the movie, and then sometimes you wait for the whole movie. Like,
on the trailer,
especially comedies.
He's wearing the baby's coat, and he's not doing.
There's no baby.
So no, I enjoy the experience of going to the movie, sitting there with my popcorn, not knowing what's going to happen, and then just enjoying it.
I'm going to do that. I want to do that with you.
For the ride. What's the worst that can happen?
Let's just go see a random movie that neither one of us knows exactly.
I do that all the time. You should come with me.
I will come with you. I cannot wait.
It's a lot of fun.
I know you probably won't tell me now, but are you in the new Black Panther? Of course you're not going to tell me. Why would you tell me? You just spoiled it. You don't like spoilers.
I'm just saying you should watch it.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to, I'll watch it. Do you want to watch it or listen to it?
You should both. Okay. It'd be weird if you only watch. If you just come into movies with your headphones.
If I'm going for your voice, I don't know. I wanted to ask you because this made me really laugh. Halloween is coming up. I don't know if you get into it or don't get into it.
I love Halloween. It took me a while to get into it because for those who are from Africa, you know what I'm talking about. Halloween is not something we really celebrate there because my parents, my mom, my gran, everyone, they just go, that's witchcraft. So like if I was like, I'm going to dress up as the devil, my mom was like, then I will send you to hell.
That trick or treat.
It's something that I grew into in America.
It's a little different.
And I'm in now. I'm enjoying it.
This is my favorite thing, one of my favorite things you've ever done. Last year you went as The Weeknd.
I did indeed.
Yeah, and it was so convincing.
I did indeed, that's me.
What? It does listen to The Weeknd.
I know it's you. Yeah. But it was so convincing. You told me that people thought that you actually were The Weeknd.
Man, can I tell you, this is one of the strangest experiences I've ever had. Because I know The Weeknd and I look similar from certain angles. The joke I have with him is I go, I'm the weekday, right?
Yeah.
And so I decided for Halloween, I was like, what's easy? I was like, this is great. I'm just going to go as him.
Of course.
Right? And I'm walking downtown in New York. It's Halloween. Everyone is dressed up as other things. Someone screams. So I go, yeah, that's the outfit. I get it. Then she's like, can I get a selfie The Weeknd? And I was like, wait, you thought I am The Weeknd? I said, you're The Weeknd. What are you doing here? Then I said, I'm not The Weeknd. She's like, you're lying. I was like, wait, so why would The Weeknd be The Weeknd?
Oh my God.
That's a good bit.
What's happening right now?
Wow.
And then And then she got angry. I was like, I'm not. She's like, don't lie. Stop lying. Just take a photo. I love you. I can't feel my face where I'm with you. Yeah. I was like, I'm not the Weeknd. She's like, why are you being like this? I was like, because I'm not the Weeknd.
Yes, of course.
She's like, I thought you were nice. Then I'm like, well, I guess the Weeknd's not nice.
Now you're giving him a bad name?
Yeah, so now we know his name every year.
He should go as himself and have one night off. Let's talk about your new project here, The Turning Point.
Yes, very excited.
This is very, very interesting. It's a bunch of documentaries. It's on MSNBC.
Yes.
And these films look at issues like climate change, voting rights.
Right.
And how do you choose what stories to cover with these?
Well, I'm really lucky that we had a fantastic team that came together to create this idea
they all lose it.
for looking at the news beyond just the moment that it happens. You know, I know America loves the take of the day. I get that. You know, I do a daily show. But I sometimes think that we lose perspective if we don't think about the whys and the hows. The story behind the story. How does it affect people in a way that you didn't consider? How do you even separate yourself from the surface issue to speak about what's actually happening? So, for instance, you know, talking about polarization. Everyone will say, oh, America's polarized. Everybody thinks this, everybody thinks that. But, you know, for one of the documentaries, we look at, do you ever consider what it's like to live in a country where people are consuming two completely different versions of what's on the news? You know, everyone goes, this is my reality. Another person says, well, this is my reality. What does that do to a country? And that's what we look at in one of those. You know, I've been lucky enough, you know, that the documentaries are produced and directed by some of the most amazing people. For instance, Leonardo DiCaprio produces one of the documentaries that looks at climate change and how it ties people's lives together. For instance, the wildfires in Portugal, how people's lives were destroyed, how they found each other, but then also how it ties into a larger narrative of how people move around the earth and why they move around the earth.
And how do we get there? And also, what are we learning and how what are we changing?
You know, a lot of the time everything is associated with blame. And I think sometimes if we have a conversation about what is, without looking at like who you want to or not want to blame, you can just have a discussion around the why. And then you can go from that.
The first one is called Shouting Down Midnight.
Yes.
What is that?
It's a really, really wonderful look at how one lawmaker, one person in fact, can go on to create, you know, ripples in a pond. You know, you have Wendy Davis, who stood up and filibustered a law that has affected so many millions of women around this country. And she did it in her state, in her world. And then what we try and show you is how these ripples go on to create change all over the country. And it becomes less about that incident and more about how people can create more change than they actually think they can in the moment that they dip themselves into a pond.
Yeah, I love that.
Here's a clip.
Here's a look at the first film in the series, Shouting Down Midnight.
It looks so exciting already.
They look like they're taking over the Capitol.
January 6th rioters.
When the building would literally come alive, I could feel it under my feet.
Are they rioting?
I think they're rioting.
They're rioting.
Upset by the crowd's behavior. Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst referred to the folks who were there as an unruly mob. They've since taken that mantra and worn it with pride.
Trevor Noah is a hack, and that's a piece of garbage, and Jimmy Fallon needs to stay far, far away.
That was like the worst clip ever.
That we're gonna
That was not funny,
Look
dude.
at him just smiling and just being a hack. Like, he's a good fucking comedian. But underneath it, he's just selling garbage.
He's selling out.
Just selling out garbage. What the fuck was that even about?
But Alex, I think I mean, maybe the commenters are right saying that it's the same crowds because he was on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, I mean, I do think that there is a sense of that, but I think that Fallon still leans to middle America.
He does.
Fallon leans towards people that don't want to listen to politics. You turned on Fallon tonight, and Fallon's not talking about January 6th. He's talking about the new Whopper.
Yeah.
And making fun of Trump. Yeah, we're making fun of Trump because Trump is silly and did this silly thing.
Yeah.
But you're not having a strong opinion about it. And why are you not? Because a lot of your base is still voting for Trump. And that's the silent majority. That's the majority of Trump voters. Not the people that are at the rallies. I'm not saying that those people are watching Jimmy Fallon. I'm saying the people that don't care about politics and then show up to the booth and go, I vote for fucking Joe Biden and vote for Donald Trump. Those people were watching Jimmy Fallon. And they sure as fuck aren't watching Trevor Noah or Stephen Colbert or any of these other ones
that are just like dripping.
They're just railing on one thing so
Fallon
heavily
tries to walk
politically.
like a little finer line and tries to balance both sides.
So you're still listening to comedy and you're there to like hear Jennifer Lawrence talk or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're not going to talk about it. So
we're just going to act like it's not happening. This other shit, you know what I mean? And even Kimmel, he's just like Kimmel is which we're going to go into right now, is a LA version of that, of Fallon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's still more politics because it's LA and they're a little wackadoodle, but they're still trying to stay away from it and just do all the like pop culture-y things for the most part.
Is this it?
Nope, never mind.
I am offering this
Why is it quiet?
That the committee direct the chairman to issue a subpoena for relevant documents and testimony under oath from Donald John Trump in connection with the January on the United States.
What the fuck?
Stop. I'm sorry, huh?
What?
Gravy!
That's how he opened the show with Trump.
Wow. I take it all back. I take it all back. And then just to finish it off, guys, just to finish it off.
Yeah, but I can't hear this. I don't. Can you put on like closed caption? My earbud's dead.
Can you just fake it? Because it's probably just gonna be awful anyway.
Guys,
and
I'm
let me
gonna
guess.
fake this.
Let me guess with Stephen Colbert right now. Okay, he's going to start his sketch by showing someone else's content and writing in the lower thirds that it's fake content, and then just letting that content play out. Okay. And that's where he's claiming fair use, which is exactly what we're doing by producing a show right now. And then when I push this play button, it shows part of his show, but it also still shows us in the corner commenting on the show. We're giving extra added value to his show. What value is he giving by stealing the content of the news that he shows at the front end?
Yeah, can you put the closed captioning on so that I can like pay attention?
I'll do that.
Yeah, because
I didn't realize. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Sorry, your headphone blew out.
My headphone died.
It's the last one, so I'm just not really worried about it. I'm having a good time.
All right.
This is gonna be really awful anyway, just like the last one, like a weird fat guy throwing chicken screen.
Yeah.
So we'll see if there's a tag now for that. But I couldn't bear listening to that man talk.
That was it.
And that was a really awful bit to begin with.
That's how we're gonna end this show, Alex? But just by bitching at Stephen Colbert.
I'm upset with Stephen Colbert, but
I'm gonna say though next week we are gonna call Cuomo. I just kind of panicked. I didn't realize that he actually put the number there, you know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna call him next week.
We should start with him next week then, so we can call him when it's live.
Call Cuomo.
We're gonna try to call Cuomo.
We should tell him that we have 2 signed.
Andrew Cuomo.
COVID's over. New York City
June of 2020.
And we wanted to know if you know.
If he believes COVID's over.
If he could send us his autograph that we could put next to it.
Yeah.
We could put like a framed photograph of is that a suitable question to ask Andrew Cuomo? I mean, Chris
Just for
Cuomo.
an autograph? Yeah,
Chris
that's
Cuomo
the question.
Chris Cuomo for an autograph so we can put it next to your brother's
The question is, can I have an autograph?
Yeah.
Because I want to set it next to your brother's poster of when he cured us
COVID.
all of COVID in June of 2020, right before the riots
and we have 2 copies of that, and he hung up on us because he's like, I'm not supposed to talk about my brother.
Yeah, or whatever.
Anyway, so that was our show.
That was such a shitty day of January 6th, but it was nice to kind of break it down. It was nice to vent. It's upsetting because I just feel like everybody's just so polarized on all of it, and again, I think we did get down to the central thing, which is like the question is not being asked that needs to be asked.
Yeah.
We're not asking the question over security or what happened on the day of, which may be a simple answer or an extremely complex answer. But either way, that question is never going to be answered the longer that we continue to
scapegoat
Donald Trump by saying when he said fight like hell, did he mean that he was killing or going to send everybody over there to hurt everyone? And Did Nancy Pelosi mean that she was gonna punch him on his face or something? What did she say? I'm gonna punch on him.
I'm gonna punch him out. You just
punch him out. Punch him out. Because I think that she thinks that it's a video game.
I'm Nancy Pelosi.
I don't know. I'm gonna punch him out though, but inciting violence, you know. That we learned that too, and we learned that, you know, the liberals and MSNBC, they say that for their 11th hour, and to just, you know, make a joke about all of it, because they can't see the own hypocrisy of their side. I'm starting to lean heavy towards just like the party of Tulsi Gabbard at this point.
She has no party, as Chris Cuomo said. She's like, she has no party.
It is.
Then that's fine. Let's not have parties.
It is the party of Tulsi Gabbard, and the vice president is Andrew Cuomo, and I would vote for that in a second.
Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Cuomo or Chris Cuomo?
No, Andrew Cuomo. Now here's the thing. Andrew Cuomo comes back, right? He's like, I won't be a politician. I'm going to take this shit out. And everybody's like, you know, settle down, man. You're a man. And like, you came out because like we Me Too'd you and like, you're a man and blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, really? Well, I'm just here because of all my experience. The person that I'm going to let take charge and talk is a woman. And her name is Tulsi Gabbard. A real fucking woman. Boom! Tulsi Gabbard president. Andrew Cuomo vice president. Unbeatable ticket. Unbeatable.
But except the thing is, Andrew Cuomo can't let anyone else talk besides him. He's got to be the star. So I just don't think that would work.
The nursing homes have done him in. You can't let him. I don't think he can get past that one.
Yeah, it's like he's stigmatized on both sides really badly. Where like the Republicans are like, we're not forgetting about the nursing homes.
No, they won't let that.
And then the Democrats are like, and the left's like,
so attached to their.
And the left's like, we're not forgetting about the women. And so like,
the women that didn't happen. We're not forgetting about the fake women that didn't happen.
Anyway,
Jesus.
So thanks for joining us. We appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to whatever service you are watching or listening on. You know, so that you can get us.
Spotify? Is it Apple? Is it Google?
Is it Anchor?
Is it Anchor? Is it
YouTube?
Stitcher? Is it YouTube? Is it
envypictures.com?
envypictures.com? Is it are you listening in the future and you're on our app right now?
Because that would be awesome.
For iPhone or for iOS TV?
Or did you pirate this?
AKA Apple TV? Are you somehow like watching this on Roku? Because if you are, we're coming for you because that's illegal. Because we're not on Roku. We will never be on Roku.
Why not? We might be on Roku one day.
I don't like
and then
Roku.
You might eat your shirt.
No, I got a fucking thing for Roku. I'm just gonna never. Even if they offer me $3 million, no Roku. You hear that, Roku? I'm a Roku never.
Don't listen to him. I might take the money. We might take the money. Okay. All right. On that note, thanks, guys. Have a great, wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you next time.
So you think the Roku deal will still go through? No?
I think you ruined it, Alex.